Pokémon, I became a Pikachu. Hey! Look who's back for more adventures. We love having you here to continue this story that keeps us all awake. Important note, all of this is pure fiction, so don't try any techniques you hear here in real life. Your neighbor might call the cops. This amazing novel and all its rights belong to the original author. We're just the ones giving it voice and drama. Are you enjoying the show? Prove it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and leaving that like that motivates us so much. And if you want VIP access to exclusive content, our Patreon is waiting with things you won't find anywhere else. Chapter 1 I am Pikachu. Damn it, at this moment, Mu Chen's heart was filled with grief and indignation. Others transmigrate, so did I, but the problem is, they either transmigrate directly in their original bodies, or even if it's a soul transmigration, they're at least rich, handsome, and powerful, right? Even if they're not rich, handsome, and powerful, even if they're just some high-ranking official's son, don't they have the potential to develop later? But what about me? What kind of pathetic thing did I transmigrate into? What the hell? Looking at his golden fur, his lightning-shaped tail, and his two furry little arms, Mu Chen collapsed. Pikachu, Pikachu my ass. The collapsed Mu Chen cursed, but the sound that came out was a slightly silly Pikachu. Ding ding, Pikachu system activated, host successfully bound. Main quest activated, the path of Pikachu. Quest objective, help Ash become the Kanto region champion. Quest time limit, 1 year. Quest reward, become a beginner Pikachu. Failure penalty, annihilation. Holy crap. What the hell? Pikachu system? What the hell did he just say? Help Ash? Holy crap. I'm that Pikachu? At this moment, Mu Chen understood his identity. So, he'd actually transmigrated into the body of Ash's Pikachu from the anime? The problem was, so what if he was Pikachu? He wanted to be human. At this moment, tears wouldn't even begin to express the grief and indignation in Mu Chen's heart. As a seasoned otaku, losing his human body meant he would completely lose even the joy of watching those teachers' artistic performances. This was unimaginable for Mu Chen. Was there any meaning to such a life? Professor. I'm sorry I'm late. Just as Mu Chen was questioning his existence, a childish voice suddenly came from outside. Only then did Mu Chen realize that he was inside a Pokemon ball. Damn it, no wonder this room was so small. Ash, you're too late. All the Pokemon have already been chosen by others. Now, only this last Pokemon is left, but it seems to have some problems. Clearly, this was a complete reenactment of the anime's plot. Ha ha ha. Pikachu, from now on you're my partner. At this moment, Mu Chen was extremely annoyed. I'm a damn straight man. You, a sweaty brat, dare to hug me? What else is there to say? A shock is the only way. Although Mu Chen had only recently possessed Pikachu, it didn't affect his ability to use his skills. Just kidding, while the system gave him a mission, it also showed him his stats, right? Although his pitiful stats didn't interest Mu Chen much, he did notice the lone electric shock skill on his skill panel. A bolt of electricity flashed, and Ash and Professor Oak unsurprisingly sported outlandish hairstyles. Damn it. I'm such a weakling. Seeing that his electric shock had only changed Pikachu's hairstyle, Mu Chen was filled with grief and indignation. With this level of skill, how could he possibly complete the main quest? Failure meant certain death. Although becoming this yellow-skinned rat was unacceptable, it was still much better than being sent straight to the afterlife, right? Pikachu, let's go. I'll take you to meet my mom, Hanako, and then we'll set off. Ash, of course, was completely unaware of Mu Chen's grief and indignation. At this moment, he was in a state of excitement about becoming a league trainer. Hey, Ash, is this the Pokemon you got from the professor? Completely oblivious to her son's hairstyle change. Hanako's gaze was entirely fixed on the listless Pikachu. Who? Right. This guy just said he was going to see his mom, Hanako? Attracted by the woman's voice, Mu Chen slightly raised his droopy eyelids. And what he saw made Mu Chen excited. This is Ash's mom? Are you kidding me? Appearing before Mu Chen was a beautiful woman in her 30s. Zhi, it seems your Pikachu likes me more. Seeing Pikachu regain its energy because of his presence, Hanako immediately became interested. Oh. Mom, this little thing can shock people, be careful. Seeing his mother trying to take Pikachu from his shoulder, Zhi immediately tense up. He didn't care about getting shocked, Professor Oak deserved it, but if his mother got shocked too, that would be a real sin. Heady no, look how much this little thing likes mom. Oh. Don't move. Taking Pikachu, Hanako immediately hugged it tightly. At this moment, Mu Chen suddenly felt that becoming a yellow-skinned mouse wasn't so bad. If you were human, what woman would hug him for no reason? Now that he was this adorable-looking Pikachu, he was actually liked by these cute young ladies. This was an unexpected bonus. Alright, Ash, it seems your Pikachu is still quite energetic. Well then, my dear son, Mom wishes you all the best in achieving your goal in becoming the league champion. And you, Pikachu, you must help my son. You two must improve together. Hanako, her face slightly flushed, gently removed the still fidgeting Pikachu and offered Ash a motherly encouragement. Don't worry. Mom, with Pikachu's help, I will definitely become the league champion and the strongest trainer. The innocent and clueless Ash clearly didn't understand what was happening. At this moment, his young heart was filled with anticipation for his future journey. Of course, at this moment, there was someone else who was very unhappy. That person, of course, was our poor Mu Chen. Damn it. You just grabbed me in a second. Suddenly being taken away filled Mu Chen with resentment. But Alice, Hanako clearly didn't give Mu Chen a chance. An arm can't twist a thigh. How could Mu Chen's small body possibly resist a human? Watching her son walk further and further away and Pikachu looking listless once again, Hanako was filled with doubt. Where did Professor Oak get such a bizarre creature? Of course, Professor Oak didn't have the energy to answer Hanako's questions at the moment. After being given a taste of Pikachu's emo-style electric shock, Professor Oak was busy fixing his hair. No way, as a well-known figure in the Kanto region, this old man couldn't afford to lose face like that. Chapter 2 Random Quest, Beedrill. Fight, Pikachu. Use electric shock to knock this Caterpie out. I'll shock you. Hearing Ash's idiotic commands, Mu Chen inwardly grumbled. Damn it, we're about to reach base. I hate this. Why? Why is it so unfair? I want a different trainer. Hanako. I want you to be my trainer. Even if it's not Hanako, any female creature like Maiko or Kurigami would do. I really don't want to travel with this idiot. Pikachu? Use electric shock. What's wrong? The Caterpie is about to escape. Clearly, Ash was completely unaware of Mu Chen's thoughts. At this moment, Ash's eyes were entirely focused on the Caterpie still wriggling in front of him. If only Pikachu would give him that gentle electric shock, I could catch it. This was the first Pokemon he'd encountered in the wild. Unfortunately, all Mu Chen longed for at that moment was Hanako's warm embrace. He selectively ignored Ash's request. Seriously? He'd rather reminisce about his recent blissful experience. Ding ding, random mission activated. Help Ash escape the Beedrill swarm. Mission reward, skill, quick attack. What the heck? Hearing the system's sudden electronic voice, Mu Chen was stunned. This is a random mission? Making me help that idiot. But the reward skill seems pretty good. Quick attack? That's super fast Ash skill? Holy crap. This is a great skill. If I had known this move before, how could I have missed my chance to get to base? At this moment, Mu Chen was excited again. Missing that opportunity wasn't so bad. Once I learned this skill, what else is there to say? Whenever I encounter this opportunity, I'll unleash quick attack without hesitation, and I refuse to believe I can't get to base. But what was that system thing again? Help Ash escape Beedrill's attack? What the hell? Wasn't it Caterpie? How did it level up? Clearly, Mu Chen, lost in his own world, hadn't noticed that because of his lack of cooperation, Ash had chosen to capture Caterpie on his own. But unexpectedly, the Pokeball was thrown slightly off course. Of course, if it had missed, that would have been fine. But the problem was, this Pokeball, by sheer coincidence, hit a Weedle. Weedle isn't Caterpie. This guy is extremely combative. Without a battle, the Pokeball naturally couldn't capture it. Freed from the Pokeball, Weedle didn't immediately attack Ash, but instead raised its head and emitted a series of insect chirps. Then, buzz, a deafening insect chirp resounded. Clearly, Weedle had used its ultimate move, calling for reinforcements. At the same time, following the system's prompt, Mu Chen arrived beside Ash. Pikachu, what happened to you? Are you feeling unwell? Or are you hungry? Obviously, the naive Ash still didn't know why Pikachu had gone on strike. Pikachu weakly called out, a response to Ash. At this moment, Mu Chen's entire focus was on the system task. Damn it! Beedrill? Where is that thing? Eager to complete the task and directly obtain the reward, Mu Chen was already sharpening his sword, ready to deliver a powerful electric attack to the yet-to-appear Beedrill. But as the buzzing sound drew closer, Mu Chen suddenly had a bad premonition. Damn it! Why do I feel so creepy? Beedrill, that thing, seems to be Weedle's ultimate evolution, right? In a one-on-one battle, can I win? Probably, maybe, I can? Clearly, Mu Chen was only focused on the mission rewards given by the system, ignoring the word swarm after Beedrill. Oh no! Pikachu, run! As the saying goes, the higher you stand, the farther you see. Even if Ash wasn't the best, he was still a boy of about 10 years old, much taller than Mu Chen's pitiful Pikachu. Before Mu Chen could even spot the enemy, Ash had already seen the swarm of Beedrill frantically attacking him at the edge of his vision. Pika, hearing Ash's voice, Mu Chen immediately struck a battle pose. But before he could fully get into the zone, he suddenly realized something. Wait? What was that idiot saying? Run? Shouldn't he be telling me to charge in and fight? Confused, Mu Chen stood on tiptoe again, peering ahead. Finally, Mu Chen also spotted the frantically attacking swarm of Beedrill. Damn it! Finally seeing his target, Mu Chen was filled with nothing but cursing. This is insane. Dozens of Beedrill. You expect me to protect Ash? Screw you. Even one Beedrill doesn't inspire Mu Chen the courage to fight, let alone a swarm. What's there to say? Off he goes. Ignoring Ash's disheveled turn, Mu Chen swiftly turned and fled, his foreclaws flying wildly. To hell with everyone, I'm not playing along. But Alice, how can running be faster than flying? Mu Chen and Ash hadn't gone far before the enraged swarm of Beedrill caught up. Buzz! Without a word, the furious Beedrill unleashed their signature move, Double Sting. Ouch! That hurts. Stung in the rear, Mu Chen accelerated his escape. Splash! Luckily, just as Mu Chen and Ash were covered in stings, a sudden downpour came from the heavens. For Beedrill, who hates rain, attacking enemies is nothing compared to avoiding the rain. Buzz! The swarm gradually dispersed, and Mu Chen, now safe, had no strength left to run. Damn it! In my past life, I was a shut-in. When have I ever suffered like this? Pikachu! Pikachu! What's wrong? Hang in there. Pikachu, Ash, worthy of being the future Ash, possessed maximum stamina and resilience. Mu Chen couldn't hold on any longer, while Ash seemed completely unaffected. Seeing Mu Chen fall in the rain, Ash anxiously picked him up and frantically ran towards Viridian City, the nearest city. Damn it! I don't want to be carried by a man. He's covered in sweat. Help! Although he didn't have to travel on his own, this experience wasn't pleasant for Mu Chen. Pika, but Alice, his protest was merely a barely audible chirp. Chapter 3 Uniforms. Uniforms. Damn it! Give me back my bicycle. Exhausted, Mu Chen finally fell unconscious. When he regained consciousness, he suddenly heard a woman's voice. A woman. Hearing a female voice, Mu Chen immediately perked up. Turning his head, he realized he had been placed on the crossbar of a bicycle. Behind him, a girl was frantically chasing after the bike thief, Zhi. Not bad. Looking at the girl's delicate face and well-proportioned figure, Mu Chen's previously listless spirit recovered somewhat. Idiot. Don't ride so fast. Can't you see that girl is about to fall behind? You're exhausting her, I'm worried about you. Pikachu, but instead of Mu Chen's protest, he heard this adorable chirping. Pikachu, you're awake? Hang in there, we're almost at Viridian City. Once we get there, you can get Nurse Joy's treatment. What? Nurse Joy? Mu Chen, who was initially prepared to ignore the idiot's words, suddenly perked up. That's right. I'm in the world of Pokémon. This world is full of all sorts of beautiful ladies. For example, the Nurse Joy that the idiot just mentioned. No, I can't let myself get distracted, otherwise, will this idiot still send me to see Nurse Joy? Thinking this, Mu Chen quickly forced himself to extinguish the restless flame in his heart. This isn't the time for me to explode. Alright, hang in there, we're in Viridian City. Finally, after Mu Chen's long wait, Ash uttered the most satisfying sentence he'd ever heard. Damn it! Thief. Robber. My bicycle. The incredibly strong girl, chasing after him, followed closely behind, arriving in Viridian City with Ash. Young man, please show me your identification. This lady said you stole her bicycle? Is it this one? What's going on? Before Ash could explain, A clear female voice rang out. Attracted by the female voice, Mu Chen, who had been feigning unconsciousness, slightly lifted his tightly closed eyelids. Upon seeing this, Mu Chen almost jumped out of Xiao Zi's arms in excitement. Holy crap! A uniform. I can't take it. I can't resist. When Mu Chen saw the beautiful woman in uniform standing before him, he was completely captivated. Mu Chen, who had once been a complete shut-in, had never seen such a stunningly beautiful woman in uniform before. At this moment, Mu Chen realized that the various uniforms he had seen worn by teachers were simply not in the same league as this beauty. Oh. Officer Jenny. It's like this, my Pikachu was injured, and because of the emergency, I borrowed a bicycle. Here's the bicycle back. I'm sorry, Officer Jenny was an official maintaining order, and upon seeing her, Xiao Zhi quickly explained. This is Officer Jenny? No wonder. No wonder. Hearing Xiao Zhi's voice, Mu Chen finally knew who this beautiful woman who had captivated him was. Ah. System. I'm so grateful to you, you bastard. At this moment, Mu Chen was filled with gratitude towards the system. If it weren't for the system, how could he have transmigrated into such a wonderful world? Even now, Mu Chen was filled with joy at the fact that he was a Pikachu instead of a human. Just kidding, with my cute appearance, these ladies can take advantage of me at will. Your Pikachu looks quite badly injured, it's already in a dazed state. You should take it to Nurse Joy quickly. This time, there was a reason, so I'll let it go. If it does anything similar again, be careful, I won't be polite. Officer Jenny, of course, was unaware of Mu Chen's thoughts. Seeing the Pikachu's vacant eyes, wide open mouth, and even drool dripping from its mouth without its awareness, Officer Jenny decisively judged that the Pokémon was on the verge of death. Having received Officer Jenny's forgiveness, Ash was naturally extremely grateful. After saying goodbye to Officer Jenny, Ash followed the route she gave him and dashed towards the Pokémon Center where Nurse Joy was located. As for Mu Chen, this guy was clearly still in his own happy little world. Hey, trainer, how did your Pokémon get hurt like this? It's completely in a daze. How could you treat your Pokémon like this? When Mu Chen regained consciousness, he heard Nurse Joy's slightly reproachful questioning voice. Damn. This little noise is so sweet. Awakened by Nurse Joy's voice, Mu Chen regained his energy. When he turned his head, he was stunned again. Damn. Uniform. Another uniform. Is this for real? One uniform, and now another. However, this Nurse Joy in this uniform is a completely different style from the mature Officer Jenny from before. Not bad, not bad, I like this one too. When the sweet Nurse Joy hugged Mu Chen, he was so excited that he couldn't contain himself. The slight trembling of its body led Nurse Joy to believe it was due to the severity of its injuries. Blissey, this little guy is yours now. Make sure he recovers. Before Mu Chen could react, Nurse Joy handed it to a giant egg-shaped Pokémon. Lucky Blissey skillfully took Mu Chen from Nurse Joy and instantly went into working mode. Holy crap. Miss? Why did you abandon me? I don't need this fat, stupid egg to heal me. I need you. In Mu Chen's despairing gaze, Nurse Joy walked further and further away from its sight. Click. Just as Mu Chen was about to break free from Blissey's embrace, the creature had already arrived in front of the recovery machine, ignoring Mu Chen's reaction and directly placing him inside. Holy crap. My miss. In Mu Chen's resentful gaze, Blissey twisted its bloated body, activating the machine with a dazzling series of movements. Whoosh. Whoosh. Hypnotic mist, meant to help the sprite fall asleep, blew out from the sealed machine, and Mu Chen, utterly powerless, succumbed to unconsciousness. Damn it. I just remembered, did I complete the random quest? This was Mu Chen's last thought before he lost consciousness. Chapter 4 Embarking on the Journey. Pikachu, having been inexplicably treated and returned to Ash, Mu Chen let out a cry of utter despair. Damn it. After all that trouble, I didn't even get to touch Nurse Joy's hand? Thinking about how he'd been trapped in that fat guy's arms the whole time, Mu Chen couldn't stop the tears from flowing. Liars. They're all liars. Where's the promised lady? If I'd known it was this thing coming to treat me, why the hell would I have pretended to be unconscious? Wow. This is your Pokémon. It's certainly full of energy. But even so, you still have to compensate me for my bicycle. A girl's voice came, and Mu Chen realized that the girl who had been chasing the two of them was also with her trainer, Ash. Looking at this girl, who, although not fully developed, already had a pair of beautiful, long legs. Mu Chen was filled with interest. Could this be Misty from the anime? Although Mu Chen didn't know much about the Pokémon world, he had at least heard of this female protagonist. What a pity. What a pity. If only she were a few years older. This was Mu Chen's only thought at that moment. An underage lolly like this, I can't handle it. Wait a minute. Why am I floating? Just as Mu Chen was still regretting that this girl, who resembled Misty, was a few years younger, he suddenly found himself floating into the air? What's going on? Hey, isn't it cute? This is my starter Pokémon. As for your bicycle, don't worry. I'll definitely make it up to you. Holy crap. This idiot, why did he pick me up again? Being picked up by Ash was one of the things Mu Chen extremely disliked. Seriously? I'm a real man, how could I be picked up by this sweaty guy? What else is there to say? Electric shock. Zzz, a current flashed. Are you alright? Looking at Ash, who had transformed back into a flamboyant young man, Misty suddenly began to suspect that this Pikachu might have been stolen from somewhere. Ha ha. I'm fine. I'm fine. This is just how we bond. Someone destined to become Ash's future self must have an extraordinary way of thinking. Ignoring the two talking, Mu Chen focused his attention on the system. What the hell is going on? I should have completed that random mission, right? Why isn't there any response? System upgrade in progress, rewards delayed. After Mu Chen's repeated calls, the damn system finally responded. However, the content of the response was unacceptable. System upgrade? What the hell is going on? I just transmigrated here, right? How come it's already upgraded? What kind of system is this? Due to the host's special preferences, our company has made some adjustments to the system's functions. Please wait patiently. We wish you a pleasant experience. What the hell? Due to my special preferences? What the hell? What preferences do I have? I didn't know that. If it's about being male and having a preference for women, how are you going to adjust that? Do you expect me to switch places with this idiot and regain my human body? Holy crap. No way. How can a human body snuggle into a young lady's arms? I'd get beaten to death. At this moment, Mu Chen panicked. He had previously been somewhat resistant to this body, but since the Hanako incident, he was extremely satisfied with it. Seriously, he could snuggle into someone's arms just by being cute. Where else could he find such a good thing? You're planning to challenge the gym in Pewter City? Perfect. My home is in Cerulean City, behind Pewter City. So we can go there together. But let me tell you, you have to compensate me for my bicycle. Just then, the girl's voice came again, confirming Mu Chen's suspicions. This long-legged lolly was Xiaoxia. Thank goodness, the plot was still developing normally. Having confirmed that the girl was Xiaoxia, Mu Chen's anxious heart finally calmed down. At least, when I travel, I'm always accompanied by beautiful women, right? Although she's a lolly, her long legs are quite impressive. Besides, having confirmed Xiaoxia, Mu Chen can also confirm the existence of another person. She is Jessie from Team Rocket. Xiaoxia is a lolly and nothing special, but Jessie is a genuine mature woman. Just thinking about Jessie's fiery red hair and hot figure excites Mu Chen. An adventure, huh? Here I come. Filled with anticipation and motivation for the future, Mu Chen finally shakes off his previous listless state. But Alice, reality is cruel, and things often don't go as planned. Charge, Pikachu. Under Ash's idiotic command, Mu Chen looks at the enemy in front of him, Pidgeotto, with a face full of grief and indignation. This is ridiculous. I'm still a cub. My only move is Thunderbolt. You chose such a high-level opponent for my first battle? I'm not Pikachu from the anime. Beep beep. Unfortunately, the enraged Pidgeotto paid no heed to Mu Chen's thoughts. It absolutely could not tolerate this creature daring to invade its territory and even throw Pokeballs at it. This was a blatant provocation. Pikachu, use Thunder Wave to interfere with Pidgeotto's flight speed. Normally, even a baby Pikachu could easily master a basic move like Thunder Wave. But unfortunately, Mu Chen was an abnormal being. Hey, Pikachu, what moves do you know besides Electric Shock? Looking at the helpless Pikachu, Ash, the trainer, was also confused. Why? That's not how it's described in the Pokédex. Why can't my Pikachu do anything besides Electric Shock? Damn it, the system's under maintenance, it won't give me any moves. What can I do? Mu Chen helplessly shrugged at Ash, his face full of indignation as he refocused on the battle. Want to be cute and crawl through someone's collar? You have to pay the price. In this world, with his Pokeball in that idiot's hands, Mu Chen really had no way to fight back. Pikachu, it's just a Pidgeotto, right? Come on. I'm not afraid of you. With a chirp to boost his morale, Mu Chen used his only move, Thunderbolt. Chapter 5 Chrysanthemums wither, wounds cover the ground. Damn it. This isn't human, Mu Chen exclaimed indignantly, realizing that real-life Pokemon battles weren't like the back-and-forth attacks in the game. This is insane. Why can't my Thunderbolt hit that big bird? Dare to stop? Dare to let me shock it? Facing this incredibly agile Pidgeotto, Mu Chen had given it his all, lightning crackling everywhere. But its only purpose was to create a firework-like effect, failing to hit its target. Beep beep. After several exchanges, dodging all of Mu Chen's Thunderbolt attacks, Pidgeotto changed its flight direction with an extremely graceful flip, shooting towards Mu Chen, whose face was flushed red and looked like he was constipated. This was one of the signature moves of flying-type Pokemon, U-turn. Pikachu. Watch out, now, through this battle, Ash realized that his Pikachu seemed to only know Thunderbolt. However, this was his starter Pokemon, his travel companion, and Ash naturally wouldn't abandon it. Seeing Pidgeotto launch a counterattack, Ash quickly shouted, warning Mu Chen to be careful of the aerial attack. Pikachu, although Mu Chen also noticed Pidgeotto's attack, how could its short legs possibly outrun a flying Pidgeotto? A painful cry escaped Pikachu's lips. Of course, this was the sound Ash and Misty heard. Actually. Damn it. That hurts so much. Help. I'm done playing. I'm not crawling under girls' collars anymore. System, please let me turn back into a human. At this moment, Mu Chen suddenly realized that his previous reclusive lifestyle was much more suitable for him. This kind of life-threatening activity was simply not for him. Beep beep, Pidgeotto, of course, didn't know Mu Chen's thoughts. Seeing its attack succeed, Pidgeotto was even more invigorated. Previously, Pidgeotto had been somewhat nervous facing Pikachu. After all, it was a Pokemon with a type advantage. But once they actually clashed, Pidgeotto realized it was a complete weakling. Its only move was Electric Shock, which it used indiscriminately. Of course, Pidgeotto wouldn't let such an opportunity to humiliate a weakling slip by. It spun around in midair and pounced on the disheveled Mu Chen again. Ash. Your Pikachu is about to give up. Do you want me to help you? Seeing Pikachu so helplessly under Pidgeotto's attack, Misty couldn't stand it anymore. This wasn't a battle. This was Pidgeotto unilaterally stomping on a weakling. No need. I believe in my partner. Pikachu will definitely win. Ash is Ash. This kind of uncanny confidence is something most people wouldn't possess. Of course, the disheveled Mu Chen didn't hear this, otherwise, he would definitely be cursing again. If you're so confident, why don't you try it yourself? Pikachu, the painful cry rang out again. This time, Mu Chen was completely enraged. Damn it. I could tolerate you abusing me. But you dared to peck my ass with your bird beak. During his previous desperate escape, Mu Chen had unfortunately been pecked by Pidgeotto. Normally, this attack's damage wasn't as high as a counterattack, and Mu Chen could withstand it. But this peck, by sheer coincidence, struck Mu Chen's rear end while he was fleeing. This truly made Mu Chen lose his temper. Enraged and humiliated, Mu Chen stopped running. Seeing Pidgeotto returning, Mu Chen channeled all his anger and humiliation into electricity. Pikachu, a roar erupted. A bolt of electricity, noticeably thicker than before, gathered on Mu Chen's cheeks and shot out towards the oncoming Pidgeotto. Beep! Upon seeing the finger-thick bolt of electricity, Pidgeotto was immediately startled. But Alice, its momentum had already begun. How could it be so easy to adjust its posture? Zzzzz. The current, carrying Mu Chen's expectations, shot fiercely into Pidgeotto's body. Beep! This time, the painful cry finally came from a different owner. Looking at the Pidgeotto that he had knocked down with his electric shock, Mu Chen was still not satisfied and released another electric shock on his opponent who was lying on the ground convulsing. Damn it! Let you show off to me, let you play those fancy tricks with me. You're showing off? You're dodging? Don't you like to expose your backside? Keep going. Pika, of course, these words reached Xiao Zhi's ears and were Pikachu celebrating its victory. Ha ha ha. Pikachu, well done. I knew you could do it. Don't shock it anymore, it'll die if you keep shocking it. Let me catch it. Seeing Pikachu defeat Pidgeotto, Zhi immediately shouted excitedly. However, when he turned his attention back to Pidgeotto, he realized that Pidgeotto had been charred black by the angry Pikachu's electric shocks, and even its convulsions had gradually stopped. Clearly, if the shocks continued, Pidgeotto would be roasted. Ash, focused on catching Pokémon, couldn't possibly let this Pidgeotto, which he had personally defeated, go unpunished. Therefore, he quickly called out to stop Pikachu, who was still unleashing electric shocks. Pikachu, Mu Chen's response to Ash was to unleash another electric attack. Stop? Are you kidding me? This guy blew my ass out, and you expect me to stop? Mu Chen swore that since birth, until his years as a shut-in, he had never suffered such humiliation. But just as he was about to press on and completely turn this wretched Pidgeotto into roasted chicken, an electronic voice suddenly rang in his ears. System upgrade complete, Pikachu System 2.0 activated. The new version features a random encounter mode, please experience it. Random mission rewards have been distributed, please check. What? Upgrade successful? Hearing the electronic voice from the system, Mu Chen was stunned. What the hell? How long would it take me to upgrade because of this? It's so fast. But what's with this random encounter mode? And version 2.0? Are you kidding me? A head full of questions, but the system didn't offer Mu Chen any answers. Just as Mu Chen was lost in thought, Ash decisively threw out the Pokéball he had prepared. Pidgeotto, I caught you. Picking up the Pokéball that had been caught without any resistance, Ash shouted his classic line. Chapter 6 Target, Pewter Gym. Pidgeotto, use U-turn. Ash was filled with excitement. Pidgeotto, being a Pokémon that had evolved once, was indeed formidable in battle. Along the way, Ash and Misty constantly encountered trainers challenging him. Being a belligerent individual, Ash wouldn't let any opponent escape, no matter who he faced. However, Ash's belligerence was too much for Mu Chen to handle. He'd rather admire Misty's healthy, long legs. Ash was helpless against this lazy fellow who always clung to his shoulder. Fortunately, he now had a second Pokémon. Pidgeotto wasn't like Mu Chen, it executed Ash's commands flawlessly. Under Pidgeotto's powerful attacks, Ash remained undefeated along the way. Of course, this was also because most of the challengers were bug caterpillars. Bug caterpillars, of course, only had Pokémon like Caterpie. As a flying-type Pokémon, Pidgeotto had absolutely no problem dealing with these little bugs. But, even with Pidgeotto's incredible strength and Mu Chen's complete lack of cooperation, Ash showed no intention of giving up on him. This was his starter Pokémon, his partner. Mu Chen scoffed at this. If he had a choice, he'd rather immediately sever ties with this idiot Ash. Seriously? As Pikachu, with a system by his side, he could go anywhere. Even if he didn't wander off on his own, if he had to choose a trainer, wouldn't he choose a pretty girl? What future could he have with this idiot? Aside from Misty, whom he could see but never touch, there was absolutely no fun in his life. As for why he couldn't touch her, just thinking about it brought tears to Mu Chen's eyes. Why did he have to be so impulsive and shock Ash in front of Misty? If he hadn't shocked him, how could Misty, this girl who likes cute Pokémon, not hug him? Because of that one nasty electric shock from Ash's Pikachu, Zhi absolutely avoids him. After all, girls have a love of beauty, and this little guy is so temperamental, who knows if she'll get a slap in the face after hugging him? Ash, Pewter City isn't far ahead. There's a Pokémon gym there. Do you want to challenge it? As they were about to leave Viridian Forest, Zhi asked Ash. This kid, didn't he say he wanted to challenge the gym and become the champion? Back in Viridian City, Ash gave up on the gym challenge because he only had one Pikachu. Now, with two Pokémon, he still doesn't plan to challenge the gym? Challenge. Of course I'll challenge it. I've already missed the Viridian City gym. If I don't challenge it here, when will I ever collect all 8 badges? The mention of the gym challenge instantly filled Ash with fighting spirit. Pewter City? Gym? Damn it. I don't want to go. Originally lost in thought, missing Hanako, Mu Chen became excited when Ash announced his challenge to the Pewter Gym. No kidding, the Pewter Gym was a ground rock type dominated gym. Ash's Pidgeotto would be easy prey against those rocks. Even Mu Chen himself was powerless against them. Although Mu Chen wasn't very familiar with the Pokémon world, he understood the basic type matchups. He absolutely refused this blatantly humiliating journey. Pikachu, that was Mu Chen's rejection. Ha ha ha. Pikachu, you're full of fighting spirit too, aren't you? Unfortunately, Ash interpreted it as Mu Chen's challenge. Fighting spirit my ass. Hearing Ash's idiotic declaration, Mu Chen was on the verge of tears. But just as he was about to shake his head in rejection, the system's electronic voice inopportunely rang in his ears. Beep beep, random mission activated. Gym challenge. Defeat Brock, the gym leader of Pewter City, and help Ash successfully obtain the Pewter City gym badge. Mission reward, Thunder Wave, +5 to HP, special attack, and speed stats. Random mode officially activated. Penalty for failure, randomly shrink your body by 2 centimeters. What the hell? What the hell? Mu Chen wasn't surprised by the system's random mission. Knowing the system's nature, even a Beedrill could issue a mission, so there was no reason why they wouldn't issue one for something as big as a gym challenge. But the problem was, what the hell was this system talking about? I completely understood the reward. But this penalty for failure? What the hell? Did they have to do this to me? At this moment, Mu Chen was filled with panic. Damn it. It seems I really have to risk it all. Not for the mission reward, but just for that terrifying random shrinkage, Mu Chen was going to risk his life. Pikachu, helpless, Mu Chen could only respond to Ash's expectant gaze with tears in his eyes. Ha ha ha. Misty. Did you see that? Did you see that? Pikachu is also eager to battle. No wonder it's my starter Pokémon. I'm eager for battle, my foot. Hearing Ash's idiotic words, Mu Chen almost lost control and gave it another electric shock. Ash, winning a gym battle doesn't just give you badges. You absolutely have to return the money for the bicycle. In this world, participating in a gym battle rewards you with badges and money along with the prize money. This is a form of support from the league to trainers. Misty's goal was that prize money. She was filled with resentment over the bicycle that had been tragically destroyed by Ash. Ha ha ha, don't worry, I'll definitely return that bicycle to you. Ash had absolutely no concept of money. In his eyes, the only thing worth his attention was battle. Pikachu, of course, while Ash didn't care, Mu Chen did. That's my food money. Chapter 7 Iron-Headed Kid, Ash. I choose you, Pidgeotto. Inside the Pewter City gym, Ash excitedly summoned his first Pokémon. As for Mu Chen? Are you kidding? Aren't main characters always the last to appear? For the sake of his own manhood, Mu Chen chose to battle only after Pidgeotto's defeat. At least, through Pidgeotto, he could also get a feel for his opponent's strength, right? Pidgeotto? Then you go. Geodude, as Ash's opponent, Brock, the temporary gym leader of the Pewter City gym, naturally wouldn't refuse a trainer's challenge. Seeing that Ash, the challenger, had chosen to use a flying-type Pokémon like Pidgeotto, Brock mentally crossed him out. Daring to challenge someone without even understanding Pokémon-type advantages and disadvantages? What an idiot. Of course, Brock wouldn't voice these thoughts. In front of Misty, this still immature beauty, Brock had to maintain his composure. Although, at this moment, Misty didn't yet meet Brock's standards. His ideal type was the mature woman. Pidgeotto, use quick attack. Ash had no idea what Brock was thinking. His eyes were already burning with the fire of battle. This was his first gym battle, his stage to shine. But reality was cruel. Geomorph, use protect. Brock wouldn't hold back in front of the pretty girl. Showing off in front of a beautiful woman was an instinct deep within every man. Hey Cha-Cha, at Brock's command, Geodude's already round body curled up into a ball. Bang, beep, beep. After the impact, Geodude was almost unharmed, while Pidgeotto was badly hit by the hard rock. Damn it. Pidgeotto, don't give up, use quick attack again. Seeing that Pidgeotto's attack hadn't achieved the expected effect, Ash wasn't discouraged. Failing the first time didn't mean failing the second. As long as I persist, I'll knock you down sooner or later. This was Ash's belief. Pikachu, of course, Mu Chen couldn't help but criticize Ash's idiotic behavior. Can you use your brain for once? This thing is just a big rock. You want your little Pidgey to go and fight it hand to hand? After a few more collisions, the rock won't even need to retaliate before Pidgey is done for. Originally, Mu Chen was indifferent to Ash's battles. He didn't care what this idiot did, he was content just admiring those long, white legs. But this time, Mu Chen was given a forced command by the system. The thought of that supposed random 2 centimeter reduction sent chills down his spine. For the sake of his little penis, Mu Chen was unusually serious this time. But Alice, his teammates weren't cooperating. Pidgey's type was already weak, and now, facing such a stubborn, idiotic trainer, how could they possibly win? Beep. Beep. Under Ash's command, Pidgey's mournful cries echoed throughout the gym. Watching Pidgey, under Ash's command, repeatedly use quick attack, already scattering its own feathers everywhere, Mu Chen's lips twitched. This idiot. I swear, I'll never listen to this moronic's orders again. Damn it. This won't do. Pidgey, let's change tactics. Use wing attack. After Pidgey had nearly killed him, the stubborn Ash finally changed his strategy. But Alice, he only realized it then, and it was too late. Alright, looks like that's all you've got. Geodude, it's our turn to attack. Use Rock Slide. Watching Pidgey perform its bird meat bomb for so long, Brock felt he had achieved his goal. Although this pretty girl wasn't his type, at least he should show her what a real man is, right? Hey, hey, hey. Under Brock's command, Geodude deactivated its low defensive stance. With a flick of his wrists, he hurled a massive rock straight at Pidgeotto, which was preparing its wing attack. Damn it. Pidgeotto, quick. Use agility to dodge the rock. Seeing his opponent launch a counterattack, Ash finally realized the gravity of the situation. However, Pidgeotto disappointed him. Of course, this wasn't entirely Pidgeotto's fault. Under Ash's idiotic commands, the Pidgeotto, completely oblivious to its own actions, had already exhausted itself from the previous impact. Now, facing this sudden attack, Pidgeotto could only helplessly flap its wings. Bang! Beep! Unsurprisingly, a rock accurately struck the Pidgeotto, which was futilely flapping its wings in midair. Ugh, Pidgeotto, why didn't you dodge? Looking at the Pidgeotto, its back to the ground, wings spread wide, seeing stars, Ash's eyes were filled with resentment. If Pidgeotto could have dodged this attack, we still had a chance. Trainer, do you still want to continue the challenge? Having instantly defeated Pidgeotto with a single rock slam, Brock straightened his back even more. Little beauty, did you see that? That's what a real man is. Following this brat is a dead end. Challenge? Of course I'll challenge. I still have one Pokemon that hasn't entered the battle yet. Go, Pikachu, I choose you. Hearing Brock's question, Ash recovered from the disappointment of Pidgeotto's defeat. The battle isn't over yet, how can I give up so easily? Pikachu, my partner, I believe you will win for me. Under Ash's expectant gaze, Mu Chen reluctantly jumped off his shoulder. Pikachu, you son of a bitch, you've already chosen me? Do you have any other choice but me? Mu Chen launched into another round of complaining at Ash's idiotic words. Of course, all his complaints sounded to others as a silly Pikachu. This is the Pokemon you chose to battle? Trainer, I advise you to choose another one. Your previous Pidgeotto could at least put up a fight. This pure electric-type Pikachu, Brock didn't need to say anything more. Mu Chen could already see deep contempt in his eyes. Pikachu, this time, Mu Chen finally let out a serious, angry cry. Damn it. You look down on me? For my manhood, I'll torture you to death. Go Pikachu. Similarly, Ash was also provoked by Brock's deeply sarcastic words. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Everything is for you, Tintin. Pikachu, the battle had begun, and Mu Chen completely ignored the idiot's commands behind him, simply running around the arena. There was no other way, Mu Chen only had two moves available. Electric Shock was completely ineffective against the ground rock-type Geodude. As for Quick Attack? Hell, Pidgeotto had already demonstrated the consequences of Quick Attack against Geodude. Considering his head wasn't even as hard as Pidgeotto's, Mu Chen certainly wouldn't recklessly charge in. Pikachu, attack. Stop running. How will you fight if you get tired? Looking at the constantly running Pikachu, Ash was definitely worried. But Alice, this was a battle between Pokemon, and even Ash, with his indestructible body, couldn't fight in place of his Pokemon in the arena. Pikachu, battle my ass. Can't you see how tough that thing is? Am I supposed to just rush in and become a sitting duck? This was Mu Chen's response to Ash. Geosphere, attack. Use tackle. Finally, even Brock, the gym leader, couldn't stand it anymore. This Pikachu is too fast. If it kept running like this, the match wouldn't end until evening. He had a bunch of younger siblings waiting for him to cook for them. He didn't have time to waste on this kid. Hey Cha-Cha, Geosphere, dizzy from Pikachu's spinning, had also lost patience. Now, finally receiving its trainer's command, Geosphere spun its round body and charged at Pikachu. Pika, seeing Geosphere finally choose to attack instead of going into defensive stance, Mu Chen's eyes lit up. The opportunity had finally arrived. Although Mu Chen was a homebody in his previous life, and fighting was far removed from his life, he played a lot of computer games. He was definitely qualified to talk about finding opportunities. Previously, when Geosphere adopted a defensive counterattack stance, Mu Chen had no way to deal with it. But now that it had moved, his chance had appeared. Changing direction again, Mu Chen circled around Geodude's side. Hey, seeing Pikachu turn, Geodude, ready to attack, naturally gave chase. However, the simple-minded Geodude didn't know that this was a premeditated attack by Mu Chen. Mu Chen, who had been running at high speed, suddenly stopped, made a U-turn, and delivered a powerful quick attack to Geodude's back. Geodude, watch out behind you. Good job, Pikachu, use quick attack. Two voices rang out simultaneously after Mu Chen made his move. Brock, seeing Mu Chen's tactical prowess, was naturally alarmed and warned Geodude to defend. On the contrary, Ash, Mu Chen's trainer, was extremely excited. Ignoring the fact that Mu Chen had already used quick attack, Ash activated his battle command mode. At least, as a trainer, he couldn't just watch his Pokémon perform without saying a word, could he? Of course, the oblivious Ash hadn't considered why Mu Chen suddenly used quick attack. Hey, Cha-Cha, having received Brock's warning, Geodude, who was charging ahead, also realized its target had disappeared. But how could Geodude's clumsy body possibly match Mu Chen's agility? It had barely turned halfway when Mu Chen's impact slammed into it. Bang! This quick attack was delivered with all of Mu Chen's strength. To protect its little pecker, Mu Chen was in a desperate state. Boom! Boom! Unable to regain its footing, Geodude, only halfway turned, was slammed into the ground and rolled repeatedly. It should be noted that although Geodude had previously defeated Pidgeotto, as the defender, it had still suffered some stamina loss. Now, after being hit hard by Mu Chen, Geodude's stamina plummeted. Of course, Geodude's stamina depletion wasn't solely due to quick attack. Rolling and colliding on the ground all took a toll. Heave-ho, Geodude only managed to regain its balance after rolling to the edge of the arena. With a painful roar, Geodude angrily raised its stone fists, ready to take down the annoying yellow rat. But how could Mu Chen give it that chance? Having pinpointed Geodude's landing point, Mu Chen unleashed quick attack again, ramming into the unsuspecting Geodude once more. Geodude, defensive circle. In a flash, all Zyogangkadu was warned Geodude to defend. But how could Geodude's stone head possibly react so quickly? Bang! The sound of impact rang out again. This time, Geodude finally exhausted all its strength and could no longer get up. Ha ha ha! Well done, Pikachu! I knew you could do it. Amazing! Pikachu is awesome. Seeing Pikachu's victory, Ash was so excited he almost jumped onto the roof. Similarly, through this battle, Misty's opinion of Pikachu completely changed. Previously, in Misty's eyes, Pikachu was just a lazy, good-for-nothing fighter. But who would have thought that this little guy could be so powerful when he got serious? Others might not know, but Misty certainly did. In this battle, Pikachu relied entirely on its fighting instincts. As for Ash's commands, Misty even praised Pikachu's actions. This little guy is incredibly smart, much better than that stubborn, clumsy bird. Misty knew that if Pikachu had fought according to Ash's commands, it would probably be lying on its back, seeing stars, right now. I can't believe I underestimated you. Well then, let's see my second Pokémon. This one is my main Pokémon. If you can defeat it, the Pewter City badge is yours. Geodude's defeat was completely unexpected for Brock. He had originally planned to clock out early, but Brock realized that if he wanted to prove himself in front of the beautiful girl again, he would have to show his true strength. Bring it on. My Pikachu is invincible. At this moment, Ash's confidence soared to the sky. Pikachu, similarly, having won a match, Mu Chen's confidence also soared. Tinker Bell, hang in there, I won't abandon you. Chapter 9, Let's Unleash the Parker Mode. Roar, A furious howl echoed, expressing the immense rage within Onyx. This yellow-skinned mouse was incredibly fast. Onyx now deeply understood the helplessness of its companion, Geodude. Damn it, despite its immense strength, it couldn't hit this yellow-skinned mouse that seemed to be in a state of electric motor mode. Onyx, don't panic. Use Rock Toss to block its movement. At this moment, Ziogang desperately wished his Onyx could learn an area of effect attack like Earthquake. If there were an earthquake, this Pikachu, which had been running non-stop, would probably have collapsed on the field, seeing stars. But Onyx couldn't. Facing the agile Pikachu, Onyx launched countless attacks, all ending in failure. After Onyx's repeated setbacks, Ziogang finally remembered to change tactics and try to block Pikachu's movement. But what Ziogang didn't know was that this was exactly what Mu Chen wanted. Your rock and pail will only create countless pebbles on the field. My rhythm is already set. These pebbles may affect my speed to some extent, but they won't interrupt my running rhythm. On the contrary, the pebbles will actually further slow down Onyx's progress, creating more favorable terrain for Mu Chen to dodge. Of course, because rock and pail hasn't been used enough yet, Ziogang, caught up in the action, didn't notice this. Zhi. This won't do. Pikachu's stamina will run out sooner or later. You have to think of something. Similarly, Xiao also didn't see the situation. Seeing the pebbles constantly appearing in Pikachu's path, forcing it to use its stamina for dodging, Xiao couldn't help but become anxious. You see, Pikachu had previously stubbornly defeated Geodude despite being completely disadvantaged in terms of type advantage, which had completely won Xiao's heart. Such a tenacious Pokémon. Who could bear to see it fail? It's okay. I believe in Pikachu, it will definitely win. Can't you see? That Onyx can't even hit my Pikachu right now. This was the epitome of Ash's misplaced confidence. Although Ash hadn't figured out Mu Chen's plan, he was full of confidence in his starter Pokémon, Pikachu. Hearing this idiot's words while in Parker mode, Mu Chen nearly died of anger. Damn it. You believe it? If you're so confident, why don't you come up and try it yourself? It can't even hit me. With my small frame, how could I possibly survive a single hit? Unfortunately, due to the language barrier, Mu Chen's complaints once again turned into heart-melting roar. 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 The roars continued, and the Onyx, frantically using Rock Tomb, was already slightly panting. Clearly, even with Onyx's stamina, it couldn't withstand such a high-intensity use of the skill. Almost there. Onyx, charge. Grab this little thing and use bind. Seeing the arena filled with rubble, Ziogang knew it was time to deal with that annoying yellow rat. He'd already embarrassed himself enough in front of the pretty girl because of this rat. He couldn't let it continue its rampage. Roar. A roar echoed as Onyx swung its massive body and charged at Pikachu, who was still running around. However, its speed wasn't ideal. Because the arena was covered in rubble, Onyx's enormous body couldn't dodge it at all. Therefore, it could only transform into a bulldozer, crushing everything in its path. Crushing like a bulldozer, while ferocious, naturally wasn't fast. Pika seeing that Onyx's speed was indeed greatly affected, just as he'd predicted, Mu Chen excitedly shouted repeatedly. Ha ha ha. Victory was assured. Although I can't hit you, you can't hit me either. Let's just wear each other down. Although I'm running around and my stamina is expending a lot, you big idiot snake have used so many skills, your stamina consumption is definitely greater than mine. The tactic Mu Chen came up with for this battle was to rely on the advantage of stamina to achieve the final victory. Anyway, I can't hit you, so I might as well not touch you at all, just wear you down, and finally you can't run anymore, then I'll win without a fight. Ha ha ha. Did you see that, Misty, how agile Pikachu is? Onyx can't even attack him. Seeing Onyx futilely running alongside Pikachu, Ash laughed excitedly. Today, Pikachu really gave him enough surprises. First, it strongly defeated that Geodude that even Pidgeotto couldn't do anything about, and now it's even toying with such a terrifying Pokémon as Onyx. Truly worthy of being Ash's starter Pokémon. But what's the point? Even though Onyx can't attack Pikachu can't retaliate either. Ziogang completely baffled Ash's excitement. What was so exciting about this? Watching two Pokémon have a long-distance race? This was a gym challenge. Ziogang swore she'd never seen a gym challenge like this in her entire life. Pikachu, similarly, As time passed, Mu Chen also noticed something was wrong. Damn it. I'm already panting, and this big, stupid snake is acting like nothing's wrong, not tired at all. What am I going to do? If this keeps up, I'm going to die from exhaustion. Tragically, Mu Chen didn't realize that while Pokémon do have stamina, the upper limit of stamina varies greatly depending on their level. At this moment, Mu Chen was just a weakling. How could he possibly compete in stamina with Brock's main Pokémon, Onix? Onix, it's done for. Use tackle to take down this little thing. Pikachu's running speed had begun to decrease, and Brock, as the substitute gym leader, naturally noticed this. The opportunity to win had arrived. How could Brock let it slip by? Roar! A furious roar rang out. At Brock's command, Onix charged, slamming into Pikachu directly in front of it. Pika, damn it, you think you can ram me? Don't even think about it, I'm running. Seeing Onix charging, Mu Chen naturally panicked. He forcibly accelerated, barely dodging Onix's attack. Chapter 10 Xiaoxia? Plain looking. Boom, Pikachu dodged, but Onix couldn't interrupt its attack. Onix slammed into the wall behind Pikachu. If it were just the wall, it wouldn't have caused any damage to Onix, which is made entirely of stone. But the problem was, right on the wall Onix hit was a water valve used by the gym for washing. By sheer coincidence, the impact broke the valve switch. Whoosh, a loud rush of water echoed. Roar! Roar! As a ground rock-type Pokémon, Onix's fear of water was innate. Suddenly being hit by a torrent of water, even though it wasn't a Pokémon attack, Onix still couldn't withstand it. Damn it! Onix, quick, get out of there! Seeing the water valve burst, Brock panicked. Onix was already quite exhausted, and now, after being hit by this torrent, if it stayed there, it would lose the match. Pikachu, Brock noticed the danger posed by Onix, but how could Mu Chen, who had successfully dodged, not notice? Seeing his opponent resorting to self-harm, Mu Chen had no reason to be polite. With a roar to boost his morale, Mu Chen unleashed a powerful quick attack on the Onix as it prepared to turn around. Bang! Unsurprisingly, the Onix, caught completely off guard, was hit. Although quick attack didn't do much damage, it interrupted Onix's turning motion. Well done, Pikachu. Finish it off with electric shock. Already full of confidence in Pikachu, and seeing that it had indeed gained the upper hand as he predicted, Ash quickly gave it battle commands. Pikachu, electric shock my ass. Is this thing made of stone, and a ground type at that? Do you think I can shock it? If I had Thunderbolt, maybe I could try. Electric shock is such a weak skill, haha, save it for your scolding mad look. Ignoring Ash's commands, Mu Chen used quick attack on Onix again. Clearly, Mu Chen wasn't planning on letting Onix escape from the water. Pika Pika, Pikachu's cries echoed continuously from the arena. Watching Pikachu relentlessly use quick attack on Onix again and again, Brock was completely bewildered. Similarly, Misty, watching the battle, felt her heart tremble with Pikachu's constant attacks. This Pikachu was incredibly tenacious. You see, with each quick attack, Pikachu was also enduring tremendous recoil. This was different from the stubborn Pidgeotto Ash had commanded before. Pidgeotto had no subjective consciousness, simply following the trainer's instructions. But Pikachu was different. This Pikachu was extremely intelligent. Through these two battles, Xiaoxia had discovered that although this Pikachu wasn't particularly strong, its battle instincts far surpassed those of its idiot trainer. Now, Pikachu, disregarding its injuries, launched a quick attack against Onix. Clearly, it knew that only by trapping Onix in the water could it achieve victory. This Pikachu truly possessed an incredibly strong competitive spirit. At this moment, Xiaoxia's perception of Pikachu completely changed. Previously, Xiaoxia had always thought that this Pikachu was utterly useless except for being lazy and gluttonous. Of course, Xiaoxia didn't know that Mu Chen was fighting so desperately to protect its penis. Pikachu, go for it. You can do it. Keep using quick attack, it's almost done for. The most excited person in the arena was Ash, who saw the light at the end of the tunnel. Although Pikachu hadn't obeyed his command to use electric shock, Ash showed no resentment whatsoever. This starter Pokemon is such a perfect match for me. Seeing Pikachu repeatedly use quick attack, just like the commands he had given Pidgeotto before, Ash was filled with excitement. See? See? My commands are flawless. Can't you see Pikachu is using quick attack now? Pikachu, At this moment, Mu Chen was completely too lazy to pay attention to Ash. This idiot. Damn it, my head is about to be blown apart by this big rock. Why isn't it lying down yet? Although quick attack doesn't do much damage to Onyx, under the constant impact of the water, Onyx's stamina was already severely depleted. Now, quick attack, a move that doesn't do much damage to Onyx, has become the last straw that breaks the camel's back. Roar. Finally, after letting out an unwilling roar, Onyx fell heavily onto the battlefield. Hooray! I won! I won! Seeing Pikachu's victory, Ash jumped 3 feet high. This was Ash's first gym challenge. With his type completely countered, how could Ash not be excited to defeat such a powerful opponent? Pikachu seeing his opponent fall, Mu Chen couldn't hold on any longer and also collapsed heavily onto the field. Damn it! My manhood is finally saved? This was Mu Chen's only thought at that moment. Oh dear, Pikachu, what happened? Ash, that careless little devil, was still celebrating his victory when Misty noticed Pikachu lying on the ground. Now, Misty was completely conquered by Pikachu's intense competitive spirit. Without any prejudice, Misty was naturally extremely concerned about Pikachu's health. What an adorable Pokémon! Ignoring Ash who was still jumping around, Misty rushed forward, picked up the lying Pikachu, and pressed it tightly against her chest. Woo Pikachu, you're so amazing. Misty's actions were solely out of her love for Pikachu. But, to Mu Chen, this was a completely different story. Miss, I can finally be in your arms again. However, SYNOPSIS really hadn't developed at all. She wasn't plump at all? Oh well, at least she's a lovely young lady, isn't she? At this moment, Mu Chen was happy. Oh dear? Pikachu, you're so badly injured. Finally, I noticed Pikachu's condition. When he saw Pikachu being held in SYNOPSIS' arms without using electric shock, I knew that his Pikachu's injuries were probably very serious. Chapter 11 Long Legs. Ah, that's not fair. Why doesn't Pikachu shock you? Having successfully obtained the Pewter City Gym badge, Ash and Misty embarked on their journey again. As for Brock, the Pewter City Gym leader, having lost so pathetically to Ash, Brock was too ashamed to travel with him. Of course, this was also due to Mu Chen's strong opposition. When he discovered that Ash had the idea of inviting Brock on the trip, he immediately delivered a shock. Just kidding, your team can only include girls. Players like Brock who try to steal my food should just stay somewhere else. Now, looking at Pikachu curled up in Misty's arms, Ash couldn't deny being jealous. This was his starter Pokémon. Pikachu likes me, it's your fault for never taking a bath and smelling so bad, who else would it shock if not you? Misty spoke Mu Chen's mind. Pikachu, recognizing Misty's words, Mu Chen turned his attention back to the system. Previously, focused on protecting Ding Ding, Mu Chen hadn't bothered to carefully study the system. Now, it finally had some free time. Of course, this was also because it was currently in SYNOPSIS' arms. Although she was average looking, she was still a young lady, wasn't she? First and foremost, Mu Chen was concerned about its attributes. Attributes, after all, were the most basic condition determining its abilities. Mu Chen didn't want to experience that catastrophic collision with Onyx again. That experience was just too damn painful. System, open my attribute list, let me see what my attributes are. Previously, Mu Chen only thought that skills determined the outcome of battles, so he hadn't paid much attention to attributes. Now, after that endurance contest, Mu Chen finally realized the importance of attributes. Ignoring the bickering Xiaozi and SYNOPSIS, Mu Chen silently summoned the system. Full of anticipation, Mu Chen finally saw its attributes. At this moment, the only words Mu Chen could utter were, "Holy crap! How could it be so bad? Although I know I'm terrible, does it have to be this bad? My level is a pitiful 9, not to mention that I started at level 5 and only managed to reach level 9 after defeating Pidgeotto, Geodude, and Onyx. The problem is, are my base stats really this bad?" While Mu Chen doesn't know as much about the Pokémon world as those veterans, he still has a general idea. In Mu Chen's memory, those so-called legendary Pokémon and Mega Legendary Pokémon have a base stat total of 600 plus, right? But mine, 300 plus 15? Are you kidding me? A whole half difference. Mu Chen knows that the plus 15 is because of the quest reward, otherwise, it would be a simple 300 base stat total. And this is Pikachu? More like a ball. Now, Mu Chen finally understands why his electric shock only managed to change Ash's hairstyle. It's so weak it makes you want to cry. Forget it, I'm not looking anymore, so sad. Next up, the random encounter mode. What's that all about? Is there any explanation? Giving up on exploring the attributes, Mu Chen focused his attention on this so-called random encounter mode. This thing, it seems the system mentioned before that it was specially added because of my personality? I'll see what this thing is all about. Random encounter mode. In the Kanto region, the host can encounter all types of Pokémon in this world. What? This is the random encounter mode? Encounter all types of Pokémon? Are you sure you're not kidding? Kanto, isn't it supposed to be the beginner's village? You've just given me hell mode right off the bat? And this is because of my personality? Do I have a masochistic tendency? At this moment, Mu Chen was completely bewildered. Mu Chen had played Pokémon games in his previous life. He knew a little about the different regions. The Pokémon in the Kanto region were generally not strong, which was why Mu Chen was confident he could complete the system task within a year. But now, what the hell is going on? All kinds of Pokémon? The thought of countless Pokémon from other regions appearing before him, becoming his rivals, shattered Mu Chen's heart. Ash, there's a river ahead, let's rest there, I really can't walk anymore. Suddenly, Misty's voice came, waking Mu Chen from his reverie. What? Rest? No way. Mu Chen knew that if he rested, Misty definitely wouldn't hold him anymore. Accustomed to this warm embrace, Mu Chen really didn't want to leave, not even for a minute. Rest? This is nothing. You're already tired? Girls are such a hassle. Hearing Ash's words, Mu Chen was surprised to find that this guy could be understanding. I really can't walk anymore. Ignoring Ash's complaints, Misty had already reached the riverbank and sat down on a rock. Pikachu, abandoned by Misty, Mu Chen could only silently utter cute sounds, hoping to awaken Misty's maternal instincts. Unfortunately, Xiaoxi's attention was entirely focused on her aching long legs, and she had no time to pay attention to the adorable Mu Chen. Holy crap! An opportunity. Mu Chen, who was about to give up after realizing Xiaoxi was ignoring him, suddenly saw an opportunity unexpectedly arrive. Wasn't Xiaoxi's leg very sore? If he kindly went over and massaged her legs, it shouldn't arouse suspicion, right? Pikachu, Mu Chen tentatively called out, slowly placing its two fluffy little paws on Xiaoxi's long legs. It tickles. Pikachu, slow down, thank you. Sure enough, Xiaoxi didn't suspect anything. In her eyes, Pikachu was clearly massaging her legs to relieve fatigue. Happiness. At this moment, Mu Chen almost shed tears of excitement. Long legs. White legs. I finally touched them. Having seen those long legs countless times on screen, on summer streets, and even in his dreams, Mu Chen could finally touch them with his own hands. He trembled with excitement. So smooth. So soft. So bouncy. This was Mu Chen's only feeling at that moment. Of course, lost in his blissful state, Mu Chen didn't notice that his little hands were moving upwards, massaging Xiaoxia. After passing her knees and thighs, Xiaoxia finally stopped him. Oh. Okay, Pikachu, thank you. I'm done. I'm not tired anymore, you don't need to keep massaging. Xiaoxia, her face flushed, hugged Pikachu tightly. At that moment, Mu Chen swore he had never hated a young lady's embrace so much. Chapter 12 Slender Waist. Pikachu, prepare for battle. Just as Mu Chen was still indignantly blaming himself, Ash's loud voice suddenly rang out. What the hell? Battle? I'm such a peace-loving player, why do you keep trying to make me battle? Hearing Ash's call, Mu Chen instinctively chose to refuse. Seriously? I'm in the middle of self-reflection, I don't have time for this. Besides, without a system mission, Mu Chen was even less inclined to do something meaningless. Beep beep, chain mission activated. Mission name, The Road to Regaining Glory. Help Ash successfully capture a female waffle. Mission reward, none. Failure penalty, chain mission closed. What the hell? I just said there were no system missions, and you're already causing trouble? But what the hell is this? A chain mission? A new mission suddenly appeared, and Mu Chen was dumbfounded. He understood random missions, and the main mission was clear too. But this chain mission? What the hell is this? Capture a female waffle? How the hell am I supposed to know if that thing is male or female? And there's no reward after completing the task. At this moment, Mu Chen's first reaction was to ignore it. Anyway, failing would just mean the task would be closed. But at this moment, Mu Chen vaguely recalled scenes from playing games in his previous life. It seems that the final rewards for chain quests are all very domineering. And what's the name of this task? Regain your majesty? Let's do it. For no other reason than the name of the task, I'll do it. As a grown man, how can I give up something like regaining my masculinity? Pikachu, having confirmed that he was going to do this task, Mu Chen immediately broke free from Xiaoxi's embrace and quickly ran to Xiaoxi to report. Ha ha ha. Did you see that? Xiaoxi, no matter how close you are with Pikachu, it's still my Pokémon? Obviously, Xiaoxi was jealous of Mu Chen's closeness with Xiaoxi. Pikachu ignoring the idiot Ash, Mu Chen began searching for prey along the riverbank. Wasn't this guy asking me to battle? According to the system's prompts, the target should be a feraligator, right? If I remember correctly, this thing is from the Hone region, isn't it? It's definitely a random encounter, even a Hone Pokémon has appeared. But no worries. If I'm a level 5 weakling, then a feraligator is a level 0 chicken. Now, the only problem is the female. Mu Chen didn't want to waste all his effort only to catch a male. Pikachu. Use electric shock on the river. I just saw a fish Pokémon. Seeing Pikachu searching for an opponent, Ash finally realized why he summoned it. Just now, a fish Pokémon had leaped out of the water. For Ash, whose goal is to become a Pokémon master, seeing a Pokémon meant a battle was inevitable. Pikachu, damn it, why didn't you say so earlier? I've been searching for ages. Hearing Ash's command, Mu Chen almost turned around and gave him a good whack. What the hell is he doing calling me over while we're still in the water? But Alice, the system mission had already been accepted, and no matter how unwilling Mu Chen was, he still obeyed Ash's command. Zzz, a flash of electricity erupted, and the once calm river surface suddenly sparked with bursts of electrical sparks. Crackling, stimulated by the electricity, a fish-like Pokémon, its body resembling a tattered sack and its eyes glazed over, leaped out of the water. It was Mu Chen's mission target, feraligator. Alright. Finally out. Pikachu. Use quick attack. Seeing the target appear, Ash instantly went into action. Pikachu, quick attack my ass. Clearly, this feraligator is a water-type Pokémon, and my electric type is a huge counter to it. And you still want me to use quick attack in this situation? Are you stupid or am I stupid? Ignoring Ash, Mu Chen delivered an electric shock to the clumsy fish that had jumped onto the shore and was thrashing its tail. Zzz. The current flashed again. Although Mu Chen's electric shock was rather weak, it depended on the target. Against something even weaker than it, Mu Chen's electric shock could still deal astonishing damage. Crack! After the electric shock, the clumsy fish that had been thrashing about immediately quieted down. Holy crap! Was it going to be turned into a grilled fish? Looking at the clumsy fish that was completely charred black, Mu Chen suddenly realized that he was actually quite powerful. Go, Pokeball! Unlike Mu Chen's astonishment, Ash was decisive at this moment. Pikachu, seeing Ash throw out the Pokeball, Mu Chen was almost scared to death. Damn it! What's the rush? I haven't even confirmed whether this thing is male or female yet. The battle was so easy that Mu Chen was naturally very happy. But if his mission failed because of that idiot Xiao, Mu Chen wondered if he would unleash all his electricity on the guy, giving him an extraordinary emo, a slang term for a flamboyant, outlandish, and often distasteful experience. Ding ding, mission complete. The second stage of the road to regain male glory mission has begun. Within 1 month, use the dumb fish to become a true male. Penalty for failure, eternal impotence. Holy crap. Thank goodness this stupid fish is female, otherwise, wouldn't I have wasted my time? Hearing the system notification that the mission was complete, Mu Chen breathed a sigh of relief. But when he continued listening, Mu Chen was completely dumbfounded. What the hell? What the hell? Use the dumb fish to make me male. Holy crap. Do you have to do this to me? Although I'm a real man, and although my preference is for women, I'm not so desperate as to be indiscriminate. This ugly thing, the dumb fish? Are you kidding me? You can really do that? Mu Chen wasn't stupid. How could he not understand what this so-called becoming male was all about? After all, this guy was a veteran of countless films in his past life. But the problem is, even if he'd watched a lot, His tastes weren't this extreme, were they? The thought of losing his precious first time to this ugly thing filled Mu Chen with a surge of malice. Wait. Something's not right. Just as Mu Chen was about to despair, he suddenly remembered. It seems this idiot fish can evolve? What if it evolves into melodic? Then I can't stand it. Thinking of melodic's elegant form in the game in his past life, Mu Chen felt a little excited. That thing had a perfect, slender waist. Mu Chen absolutely couldn't accept the idiot fish. However, if it were melodic, then it wouldn't be impossible. After all, in its current form, it could only take advantage of human ladies at most. Really, anything more was unrealistic. At this moment, Mu Chen finally understood the system's previous explanation for choosing to upgrade based on his personality. Is this the random entry mode? Chapter 13 The Legendary Villain. Cluck. Cluck. Looking at the dull eyes of the clumsy fish, Mu Chen was also stunned. How was he supposed to evolve this thing in a month? The thought of having to have his first time on this disgusting creature if the clumsy fish couldn't evolve sent chills down Mu Chen's spine. Although he had rather heavy tastes, it was definitely not this extreme. Damn, this clumsy fish was really getting uglier the more he looked at it. Ha, Misty, did you see that? I have a water-type Pokémon too, of course. Ash was unaware of Mu Chen's distress. Ash was very satisfied with this unexpectedly acquired Pokémon. Although he didn't know why this Pokémon, which belonged to the Hoenn region, was here, it wasn't a problem for the carefree Ash. Now, he was a trainer with 3 Pokémon. Having successfully obtained the Pewter City badge, Ash was full of anticipation for his future journey. Alright, I know you have a new Pokémon. What's so special about it? It's so ugly. For Xiaoxia, who's all about looks, a Pokémon's strength isn't the most important thing. Appearance is everything. Like this super cute Pikachu. Thinking of Pikachu, Xiaoxia suddenly realized. Why didn't Pikachu snuggle into her arms today? Usually, it loves being held. But how could Xiaoxia know that Mu Chen was filled with endless resentment towards her flat chest? Those long legs. My long legs. Mu Chen knew that finding another opportunity like last time wouldn't be easy. Because he was too engrossed last time, the massage had shifted upwards, and now Xiaoxia absolutely wouldn't let him touch those long legs. Pikachu, with a sad sigh, Mu Chen turned his attention back to the clumsy fish that was constantly splashing around in Ash's arms. Big brother, oh wait, little sister, when are you going to evolve? Hurry up, Misty. Judging by the distance, we should reach Cerulean City in about 2 more days, right? I heard the water-type gym there is very famous. What? Cerulean City? The Cerulean Sisters. Mu Chen, who was lamenting his tragic fate, suddenly perked up. Holy crap! How could I forget? This Misty has several older sisters. Of the 4 sisters, Misty is just the youngest. Misty is young, so her chest is flat, but what about her older sisters? At this moment, Mu Chen was excited. Pikachu, with a joyful cry, Mu Chen pushed off with his legs and leaped into Misty's arms. No need to say anything more, I have to appease this little brat now. If she's happy, I'm not worried about not having a chance to see her older sisters. As for that clumsy fish still thrashing around in Ash's arms? Anyway, there's still a month left, I'm not in a hurry. Ash, look, Pikachu gets all excited at the mention of gym challenges. It's really worthy of being your starter Pokémon, so battle-loving. Misty, of course, had no idea what Pikachu's purpose was in clinging to her. Ha. Of course. Misty, our goal is to become Pokémon Masters. Let's go, let's hurry, maybe we'll run into my mom. I remember Mom said she's going to Cerulean City to see a water show soon. What the hell? At this moment, Mu Chen's long ears twitched again. What was this idiot saying? His mom's in Cerulean City too. Hanako. At this moment, Mu Chen finally felt that this world was still full of love. Thinking of Hanako's warm embrace, Mu Chen almost shed tears of excitement. There was a time when I thought I'd never see Hanako again. This time, I'm determined to get to base. The group, hurrying on their way, were unaware that a fierce battle between trainers and Pokémon was raging on their path. The world was not as peaceful as it appeared. In many shadowy corners, a vast number of dark forces lurked, constantly engaging in terrorist activities for ulterior motives. Meanwhile, on MT Moon, the only route to Cerulean City, Team Rocket, the dark forces of the Kanto region, were engaged in a fierce battle with the wild Pokémon of MT Moon. Jesse, James, Meowth. You three go and guard the perimeter. If the League arrives, inform us immediately, a burly man ordered the trio who were seemingly indifferent beside him. Yes, sir. Lord Random, don't worry, we will complete the mission. Meow. This burly man was none other than Random, one of Team Rocket's Elite Four. Random was the supreme commander of Team Rocket in this operation on MT Moon. As for the trio, Random genuinely looked down on them. Since joining Team Rocket, these three seem to have never completed a single mission. If it weren't for Giovanni's specific instructions, Random would have kicked these three good-for-nothings far away long ago. Now, at a crucial moment in their operation, Random, having no one else to rely on, had no choice but to make use of these three, sending them to keep watch. Surely, even if these three were useless, they could manage this task, right? HMPH. What? Just because you joined the boss early and gained his favor? Just wait. Once we successfully capture a rare Pokémon and get promoted to a higher position, see how I deal with you. Meow. On the surface, Meowth was very obedient to Random, but in reality, she secretly envied his status. Alright, Meowth, let's go. Let's hurry up and guard the crossroads, otherwise the boss will be angry if we delay the operation. Jessie deeply sympathized with Meowth's complaints. But Alice, circumstances were beyond their control, and now they could only do the job of guarding the crossroads. However, what Musashi and the others didn't know was that such a fateful encounter could happen so unexpectedly. Ash, if we keep going, we'll reach MT Moon. Let's rest at the foot of MT Moon for a day, and then we can reach Cerulean City tomorrow. As a local of Cerulean City, Misty was naturally very familiar with the terrain. Chapter 14. The Trio. Halt. Team Rocket has already occupied this area. No passage allowed. Jessie and the others were ordered to defend the outer perimeter and report to Random upon discovering any League personnel. Now, Ash and Misty, appearing before the trio, were clearly two young, rookie trainers. Since they weren't official League personnel, the trio naturally wouldn't be polite. After all, they were elite members of Team Rocket with considerable fighting ability, weren't they? Who are you? This road belongs to everyone. What right do you have to block it like this? Ash was taken aback by the sudden appearance of the trio. Where did these three come from, and why are they so domineering? HMPH. Since you've asked so sincerely, we will mercifully tell you. To prevent the world from being destroyed, to protect the peace of the world. Embracing evil with love and truth, cute and charming villains. Jesse. James. We are Team Rocket, traversing the galaxy. A white hole, a white tomorrow awaits us. That's it. Meow. Seeing Ash ask a question, the trio, with their strong desire to perform, immediately got into character. Seeing the trio striking various poses while talking, Ash was stunned, Misty was stunned, and even Mu Chen in Misty's arms was stunned. The scene was incredibly awkward. Oh no, Ash, these guys are Team Rocket. Misty was the first to react. After all, Misty came from the Cerulean Gym, and her knowledge far surpassed Ash's. Team Rocket? What's Team Rocket? Are they those three? Ash looked completely bewildered by Misty's shock. Team Rocket? Why had he never heard of them? Unlike Misty's shock, and unlike Ash's bewilderment, Mu Chen was mesmerized. Holy crap! Fiery red hair, delicate face, a pert chest, a slender waist, a super short skirt, and those mesmerizing long legs. Oh no, I'm doomed. Although Mu Chen knew that Team Rocket and Jessie existed in this world, seeing them in person made him realize what true beauty was. Compared to Musashi, Zaya Aksha was like a budding flower. This was the true allure of a mature woman. At that moment, only two words flashed through Mu Chen's mind: love. The instant he saw Musashi, Mu Chen was completely captivated. What about Aoisora? What about Izal-sensei? What about Hatano-sensei? Compared to Musashi, they were utter trash. Pikachu, uncontrollably, Mu Chen, nestled in Zaya-Aksha's arms, called out to Musashi. This call was filled with his overflowing love. Without thinking, Mu Chen broke free from Zaya-Aksha's embrace and ran towards Musashi, who was still striking a pose. Zaya-Aksha, did you see that? Pikachu isn't afraid of Team Rocket at all. How dare they block my way? Today I'm going to teach you a lesson. Charge, Pikachu, I'll charge you to hell. Mu Chen, lost in his daze, was awakened by Ash's idiotic voice. You idiot, What are you yelling for? When did I say I was going to fight? Don't you know? In the original story, Musashi and her trio were always trying to capture me, Pikachu. Knowing this reference from the original story, Mu Chen's charge at Musashi and the others wasn't for fighting, but rather a deliberate act of walking into a trap. Miss Musashi, you wanted to catch me, didn't you? Come on. Catch me. I won't resist. This was Mu Chen's goal. Following a beauty like Musashi was the true path to success. What future was there in following an idiot like Ash? Clearly, in his excited state, Mu Chen had long forgotten about the system mission. What is this thing? Look. It looks like a Pikachu you see everywhere. Ouch. Get away. What's that jumping on me? Kojiro's question, Meowth's answer, and Musashi's exclamation followed in quick succession. In his euphoric state, Mu Chen performed beyond his usual abilities, dashing into Musashi's arms in a flash. Just as he was about to fully experience the feeling of being a winner in life, Musashi grabbed him and flung him far away. Pikachu, Mu Chen was stunned, having been flung away by Musashi. This isn't right, is it? Did the original story say that a Musashi trio would grab Pikachu whenever they saw it? I am Pikachu. I've practically delivered myself to your doorstep. Why aren't you holding me tighter? At this moment, Mu Chen was filled with endless grievances. But how could it know? In the original story, Pikachu at this time had already mastered Thunderbolt. And what about it? It was merely a weakling with a low-level battle rating. Pikachu isn't rare in this world, so Musashi would definitely not be interested in Mu Chen's attempt to embrace her. Damn it. Pikachu, don't give up, use electric shock. Ash, of course, was completely unaware of Mu Chen's inner turmoil. Seeing that Mu Chen's quick attack had no effect, Xiozhi, undeterred, gave Mu Chen another battle command. HMPH. What? You want to fight back? Well then, come out, Arbok. Similarly, in Jessie's view, Pikachu's action was also an attack on her. Since it was a battle, Jessie would never back down. Chiba, as Jessie waved her slender arm, a snake-like Pokémon appeared in front of her. Me too. Let's fight, coughing, as Jessie's best friend, Kojiro certainly wouldn't let her fight alone. Coughing, at Kojiro's summons, a round, purple Pokémon emitting foul-smelling yellow smoke appeared beside Arbok. Me too. Me too. Me. As a Pokémon, Meowth naturally had some fighting ability. If they were facing League officials, the only option for the trio would be to flee. But facing this rookie trainer who uses a Pikachu, a Pokémon that's practically everywhere, as their main Pokémon, the trio is about to embark on their easy prey journey. Pikachu, damn it. I don't want to battle. Why? Jessie, why aren't you catching me? At this moment, Mu Chen's heart is still filled with confusion and bewilderment. This isn't how the script was written. Unfortunately, his questioning voice, to others, is a defiant declaration of war. Just as a heartbroken Mu Chen is about to turn and leave to show his refusal to fight, the system's voice rang out at the most inopportune moment. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15 Musashi makes his move. Ding ding, random mission activated. Help Ash defeat the trio. Mission reward, congratulations, you have successfully gained male abilities. Failure penalty, your body will shorten by 2 centimeters in a certain area. What the hell? Are you kidding me? When he heard the system's voice, Mu Chen knew that even if he didn't want to fight, he had to grit his teeth and go for this random mission. The system couldn't have been clearer. The so-called reward was undoubtedly because of that chain mission, allowing his little thing to perform its proper function. As for the failure penalty, Mu Chen only had 1,000 curses in his mind. It's intentional. Obviously, this system is deliberately messing with me. But what can you do? You can't fight City Hall. No matter how unwilling Mu Chen was, he could only grit his teeth and accept his fate. Miss Musashi, I'm sorry. Although he really didn't want to fight Musashi, for his little thing, for his future, Mu Chen charged at the oncoming Arbok with tears in his eyes. That's it, go, Pikachu. Seeing Pikachu fight 3 opponents without flinching, Ash was even more excited. Ash had clearly forgotten that this wasn't a typical one-on-one battle. Go, Staryu, Use water gun to hold off the coughing. Ash might be unreliable, but that didn't mean Misty was. Although surprised by Team Rocket's sudden appearance, the battle was now set in stone, and Misty wouldn't hesitate. Heave-ho! A sharp cry rang out. This was the first time Misty had summoned her Pokémon since meeting Ash. As a girl, Misty wasn't particularly enthusiastic about battling. The only reason she traveled was because she couldn't stand her 3 older sisters always dragging her to practice some kind of synchronized swimming. Now, facing the wicked Team Rocket, Misty naturally wouldn't let Ash or Pikachu fight alone. Kajero, that starfish is yours. This wretched yellow-skinned rat, I'll deal with it myself. Musashi was filled with hatred for Pikachu's sneak attack. It was so sudden that she didn't have time to think before throwing the attacking Pikachu away. But now, thinking back, Musashi suddenly remembered that Pikachu had actually attacked her vital area. How could Musashi tolerate this? Don't worry, Musashi, leave it to me. Coughing, use poison gas. To be fair, the trio wasn't weak. In the anime, they were constantly getting beaten up, but that was only because Pikachu was too powerful. But now, although Mu Chen possessed the Pikachu system, he wasn't Pikachu anymore, he was a weakling. Therefore, after facing Ash and Misty, the trio finally had a chance to shine. Quasi-I, under James's command, Quasi-I clashed with Staryu. The 2 Pokémon unleashed a barrage of moves, but couldn't land a hit. Of course, they had still accomplished their master's plan. At least, they had stalled their opponent, hadn't they? Pikachu, on the other side, Mu Chen was about to collide with an oncoming Arbok. Mu Chen knew that snake-type Pokémon were generally very skilled at using binding moves. If you were bound, his small frame would probably be dead by this time next year. Therefore, facing the oncoming Arbok, Mu Chen once again ignored Ash's idiotic command to charge. He used his agility to dodge the attacking Arbok with a few leaps, and then, Mu Chen flipped over and delivered a powerful electric shock to Arbok's back. A jolt of electricity flashed, and Arbok, having missed its attack, was about to turn around when it felt a burning sensation behind it. Clatter. Normally, the power of Mu Chen's electric shock shouldn't have caused Arbok too much damage. But unfortunately, Arbok had just pounced, leaving Mu Chen with its most vulnerable spot, its abdomen. Without the protection of its scales, the electric shock made Arbok breakdance. Well done. Pikachu, use quick attack to finish it off. Seeing Pikachu subdue its opponent with one strike, Ash was even more excited. Pikachu, Mu Chen selectively ignored Ash's command. You're brain dead, but I'm not. Didn't you see Meowth pounced on me? I don't want to get scratched all over. Meow. Watch me scratched like crazy. Just as Mu Chen expected, Meowth, the last to appear, had its 2 front paws flashing with a cold light. Clearly, this frenzied clawing attack had been brewing for a long time, just waiting to deliver a tearing, pleasurable experience to the yellow-skinned rat. Pikachu, having anticipated this, how could Mu Chen possibly fall for it? Utilizing the Parker skills he'd honed at the Pewter City Gym, Mu Chen ran with reckless abandon. Trying to catch me? HMPH, trained for another 2 years. But just as Mu Chen was feeling smug, a shadow suddenly flew towards him. The shadow grew larger and larger. Finally, Mu Chen discovered the shadow's owner. It was none other than Musashi, the long-legged beauty he'd been dreaming of. Slap, HMPH. Dare to ambush me. Kicking Mu Chen away, Musashi was still not satisfied. Her own Arbok was unhelpful, still performing its breakdancing act, so the humiliated and enraged Musashi naturally had to step in herself. You see, after all these years in the underworld, this was the first time Musashi's most vulnerable spot had been attacked. Especially. The attacker wasn't some handsome rich man, but a despicable yellow-skinned rat. Pikachu, damn it. This time, Mu Chen was truly enraged. I only acted out of necessity to complete the mission. Even so, I didn't want to hurt you at all. And yet, this damned woman dared to humiliate me again and again? What else was there to say? Electric shock, time. Of course, Mu Chen was very clear about the power of his electric shock. At such a distance, let alone whether it would hit, even if it did, it wouldn't cause any harm to Musashi, this powerful woman. Therefore, Mu Chen's choice was to get up. Ignoring the Meowth that pounced again, Mu Chen flashed and rushed towards Musashi. You dare to come again, Seeing that the Pikachu she had kicked away was attacking again, Musashi quickly raised her leg to kick it away again. But this time, Mu Chen was prepared. Chapter 16 Target, Cerulean City. You wait, we'll be back, meow. Kojiro, run, meow. This feeling is awful. Carrying Musashi, Kojiro and Meowth quickly retreated from the battlefield. There was no way around it. As the leader, Musashi had completely transformed into a flamboyant, punk rock look, her body even twitching slightly. Seeing their leader like this, Kojiro and Meowth naturally couldn't continue fighting. As for why Musashi was like this, it was, of course, Mu Chen's doing. After being repeatedly thrown and kicked away by Musashi, Mu Chen's male pride erupted. This damn woman, I may have my eye on you, but that doesn't mean you can act so arrogantly. Enraged, Mu Chen launched an attack with a lightning flash. Reaching Musashi, the prepared Mu Chen nimbly dodged her long kick. Then, Mu Chen activated the skill he had previously received as a system reward, electromagnetic wave. While the electromagnetic wave skill didn't have any damaging abilities, its effects were considerable. Targets struck by electromagnetic waves become paralyzed, their mobility greatly reduced. Caught off guard, Jessie was unsurprisingly hit by the electromagnetic wave. Seeing Jessie affected, the enraged Mu Chen didn't hold back, immediately delivering an electric shock. This led to the retreat of the flamboyant Jessie and the Team Rocket trio. Ha ha ha. Pikachu, well done. Having defeated a powerful enemy, Ash was naturally overjoyed. However, Mu Chen was now deeply remorseful. Pika, he responded weakly, then fell silent again. Damn it. I regret it so much. Why was I so impulsive? Of course, Mu Chen's regret wasn't because he shocked his goddess. It was simply because, I fucking regret it. Why was I in such a hurry? I didn't even see the color clearly. Was it white? Or black? Or gray? Previously, Mu Chen, who had charged forward and delivered 2 electric-type moves to Musashi, was positioned right under her skirt. However, blinded by rage, Mu Chen completely forgot to take the opportunity to observe the color of the fabric protecting Musashi's sacred spot. This truly made Mu Chen regret it to the core. Even in his self-reproach, Mu Chen didn't notice that his little ding-ding had undergone a subtle change with the system's help. Ash, let's hurry. Team Rocket's appearance at MT Moon must have some ulterior motive. We need to get to Cerulean City immediately and inform Officer Jenny. Ash was inexperienced and clueless about everything, but Misty wasn't stupid. As the largest criminal organization in the Kanto region, Team Rocket's appearance at MT Moon must indicate some large-scale operation. At this moment, Misty's only thought was to quickly inform the League. After all, she came from a legitimate gym leader family within the League. Oh dear, does that mean we'll have to travel all night? I'm fine, but can you manage? Hearing Xiaoxi's reminder, Xiaoxi finally realized his own identity, a registered trainer in the League. HMPH. Don't worry, I'm not as delicate as you think. Don't forget, I chased you all the way back in Viridian Forest. Hearing Xiaoxi doubt his stamina, Xiaoxia indignantly showed off her long, healthy legs. That's good, I was just worried you couldn't keep up. At this age, Xiaoxi was still quite naive and completely ignored those dazzlingly long legs. Of course, while Xiaoxi ignored them, others didn't. Hearing that the two were going to travel quickly again, Mu Chen immediately snapped out of his self-pity. Musashi wasn't worried at all. They could always meet again. Those long legs in front of him were the real deal. What were they talking about? Traveling all night? So, does that mean I'll get another massage opportunity? Oh no, Ash, Pikachu looks injured. Let's hurry to Cerulean City. Excitedly, drool involuntarily dripped from Mu Chen's mouth. Of course, Misty, completely unaware of all this, was oblivious. In her eyes, Pikachu was clearly injured in the previous battle, hence its listlessness and even drooling. Pikachu, holy crap. I'm not injured. Hearing Misty's exclamation, Mu Chen immediately jolted awake. If there was anything that had disappointed him most since arriving in this world, it was the Pokémon Recovery Center. He'd been hoping for a gentle treatment from the adorable Nurse Joy, but instead, it was a fat egg. Who could stand that? Where? Pikachu is full of energy. Let's go, let's hurry to Cerulean City. Hearing Ash say this, Mu Chen was moved to tears. Finally, you said something sensible. Just as Ash and Misty were rushing towards Cerulean City, Team Rocket, in another direction, also stopped their retreat. Ugh. I'm so angry. Kajiro, put me down right now. The paralyzing effect of the electric current had long worn off. At this moment, Musashi almost fainted from anger. To think that she, a being capable of taking on Pokémon one-on-one, could be ambushed and then knocked down by a tiny yellow mouse? This was just too humiliating. But, that damned yellow mouse seemed to have crawled under my skirt earlier, right? It didn't see anything it shouldn't have seen, did it? No. No way. Thinking of this, Musashi shook her head repeatedly. That thing was just a Pokémon? How could it possibly know these things? Even the ambush earlier must have been an accident. Musashi, what do we do now? Lord Random ordered us to guard the crossroads. Now our tracks have been discovered. Those two brats have probably already informed the League. Should we inform Lord Random? Meowth was more concerned with the important matters. At this critical moment, Meowth finally remembered the three of them's mission. But who could have imagined that she would be defeated by two brats? Damn it. Kajiro, go contact Lord Random and tell him there are League investigators nearby. We've been defeated. Those investigators will probably find Lord Random and his group soon. Of course, losing to brats was something she couldn't reveal. As for Team Rocket's operation, Musashi didn't care at all. It was that arrogant guy Random who organized it. What did it matter to her if they failed? Chapter 17 Arrival in Cerulean City. Thank you so much. We'll send people to search MT Moon right away. In Cerulean City, Officer Jenny was thanking Ash and Mischief with a grateful expression. Looking at Officer Jenny's slender hand, Mu Chen's eyes flashed with deep envy. Sigh. If only I were the one shaking hands with this Officer Jenny. This idiot doesn't know anything. But Alice, Officer Jenny would never shake his furry little hand. Ah. Finally solved. I'm exhausted. Misty, let's find a place to rest. After Officer Jenny left, Ash stretched, a rare occurrence. What? Find a place to rest. Hearing this, Mu Chen, nestled in Misty's arms, immediately perked up. This idiot Ash is getting more and more reliable. What had Mu Chen been hoping for all this time? Nothing more than for the two of them to rest, so he could have a chance to give Misty a deeply affectionate massage. Now, Mu Chen, who had been waiting anxiously, finally heard these words. How could he not be excited? However, things in this world often don't go as planned. Go find somewhere to rest yourself. My home is the Cerulean Gym. I'm going home. Holy crap. Hearing Xiaoxua's words, Mu Chen almost spat out blood. Was she really that heartless? So, she really just got the money for the bicycle from that idiot Ash and then went home together? What happened to the trip? What happened to her companions? What happened to those long legs? Watching Xiaoxua walk further and further away, watching those long legs gradually disappear into the distance, Mu Chen's heart shattered. Alright. Pikachu, let's go too. Ash seemed completely unconcerned about Xiaoxua's departure. He called out to Pikachu, who was still gazing affectionately at Xiaoxua's retreating figure, and turned to walk towards the Pokémon Center. In this world, Pokémon Centers not only provide medical services, but also serve as rest areas and gathering places for trainers. Here, any registered Pokémon trainer like Ash can get a free rest room at the Pokémon Center. Many trainers even choose to battle the Pokémon in the arena provided by the Pokémon Center. Pikachu, after all, his master was Ash, and even though he was extremely reluctant, Mu Chen could only withdraw his lingering gaze. With Misty gone, Mu Chen had no other thoughts. Finally calming down, Mu Chen began to study the system and his own problems for the first time. Why did I, a perfectly normal person, end up in this world? Although Mu Chen was the type to accept things as they come, it didn't mean he wouldn't think about it. Unfortunately, the system didn't provide any answer to his question. Having racked his brains without success, Mu Chen gave up on the question and focused his attention on the system's missions. The initial main mission was very easy to understand. It was simply to help this idiot achieve his wish and become the league champion of the Kanto region. The mission reward, the so-called beginner Pikachu, was also understandable to Mu Chen. This thing must be about improving my abilities, right? Mu Chen was quite enthusiastic about improving his abilities. Although he didn't want to engage in pointless fighting, the world wasn't as peaceful as it seemed on the surface. Leaving aside Team Rocket, countless trainers died every year at the hands of rampaging wild Pokémon in the wild. Bound by the system, Mu Chen couldn't leave this idiot, so improving his strength was crucial for him. Besides, if he were strong enough, how could he have been kicked and flung away twice by that damned Jessie? Thinking about this, Mu Chen felt a deep sense of humiliation. Damn it, just you wait, I'll make you kneel and sing conquer sooner or later. Currently, the only thing on the system that Mu Chen couldn't understand was the so-called random entry mode and chain quests. Clearly, both of these appeared after the previous system upgrade. This thing was supposedly upgraded based on his personality, so judging from the current situation, the system had a thorough understanding of him. Yes, Mu Chen was a very simple person. Even in his previous life, his life was very monotonous. Mu Chen is the kind of guy who's male and female. A very simple, pure, and straightforward man. Of course, due to the limitations of his previous life, Mu Chen could only express his affection for girls through computer screens. But now, in this world, Mu Chen has plenty of opportunities. It's probably because of this that the system made adjustments, creating this 2.0 version. Through the clumsy fish, Mu Chen roughly understood what this random encounter was all about. Just as the system said, you can encounter all Pokémon in the Kanto region. However, the problem now is, what's the probability of encountering Pokémon from outside the Kanto region? This is what Mu Chen cares about most. He doesn't want to encounter something like Hydreigon the moment he steps into the wild with this idiot. Host, currently in the beginner random encounter mode, so you can rest assured, you won't encounter any Pokémon that you can't defeat. Just as Mu Chen was still wondering, the system actually gave him an answer. Hearing the system's answer, Mu Chen was stunned. What the hell? You have your own thoughts? Are you fucking not a robot? Holy crap. You're really messing with me. At this moment, Mu Chen realized that the system wasn't operating entirely according to its program. Clearly, it was deliberately messing with him. Otherwise, why would the penalty for failing a mission always be a reduction of 2 centimeters in a certain part of his body? Unfortunately, this time, the system wouldn't respond to Mu Chen's questioning. With the system ignoring him, Mu Chen was naturally helpless. HMPH. You just wait and see who plays him to death. Mu Chen knew that the system didn't have the ability to directly harm him. Otherwise, if it wanted to mess with him, why would it create those random missions and that failure penalty? Therefore, Mu Chen remained very calm. It's just a series of missions, right? It's just making me use those Pokémon to lose my virginity, right? Does it really think I won't go through with it? HMPH. Even if it can't evolve into a melodic with its slender waist, I really can't bring myself to do it. Chapter 18. Suddenly I discovered, I'm pretty powerful. Go, Feraligatr, use tackle. Having arrived at the Pokémon Center, Ash, a battle maniac, certainly wouldn't be idle. At this moment, Ash was commanding Feraligatr to battle a Rattata. Mu Chen was quite happy about this situation. At least the more battles Feraligatr fought, the higher its chances of evolving, right? Mu Chen harbored deep resentment towards the system. If Feraligatr successfully evolved, that would be fine, but if it hadn't evolved after a month, wouldn't he be in trouble? Just thinking about that damned failure penalty filled Mu Chen with despair. This system was deliberately setting me up. There wasn't any failure penalty in the first round of the mission, but in the second round, suddenly this deadly thing appeared. As a real man, Mu Chen absolutely could not accept such a heinous punishment as eternal impotence. Rather than be impotent, I'd rather die. This was Mu Chen's belief. System, can you give me a hint? What are the evolution conditions for this thing? Watching the clumsy fish constantly thrashing about in the arena, and imagining himself possibly attacking this ugly creature, cold sweat began to drip uncontrollably from Mu Chen's forehead. Although he had comforted himself earlier that this thing could evolve into melodic with its slender waist, the problem was, what were the evolution conditions? Level? Or something else? Although Mu Chen had played Pokémon games and watched the anime, who remembered these details? Mu Chen only had a basic understanding of the Pokémon world. Please explore on your own, host, explore my ass. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Mu Chen was utterly despairing of the system. This thing was clearly waiting to see him make a fool of himself. Pikachu, go. The task of helping the clumsy fish get revenge is entrusted to you. Just as Mu Chen was still struggling with the clumsy fish's evolution problem, Ash's voice came from beside him again. Pikachu, go for it, I don't have time. This was Mu Chen's attitude. Of course, Mu Chen also knew that he couldn't communicate with this idiot through language. Therefore, Mu Chen's method was to turn his head away, leaving Xiao Zhi This idiot, with a shiny backside. Ha ha ha. Your Pokémon have refused to participate in the battle, so are you admitting defeat this time? Seeing Mu Chen's performance, before ZI could react, his opponent, a Straw Hat Boy, lost control. He couldn't even command his own Pokémon, yet he was participating in a battle that belonged to trainers? Damn it. I have other Pokémon. In that case, I choose you, Pidgeotto. ZI was used to Pikachu's lack of cooperation. He didn't even care about the Straw Hat Boy's taunts. All he cared about was the outcome of this battle. Oh? There's more? Then come on. But no matter what Pokémon you send out, it can't defeat my Rattata. After crushing a Feraligatr, the Straw Hat Boy was clearly in a state of inexplicable confidence. Go. Pidgeotto, use U-turn. Ash has an extremely strong competitive spirit. Defeat is something he absolutely cannot accept. Beep beep. Fortunately, Pidgeotto, unlike Mu Chen, didn't hesitate at all in following Ash's commands. This stupid bird. Seeing Pidgeotto launch another attack under Ash's command, Mu Chen deeply despised its intelligence. Last time, in the Pewter City Gym, Mu Chen had witnessed Ash's iron-fisted battle command the whole time. If it were Pidgeotto, it would never continue to obey this idiot's commands. Rattata. Use KO Fang to finish it off. Just as Mu Chen was feeling smug about his superior intelligence, the Straw Hat Boy's excited shout came over. Then, beep, a mournful cry rang out. Attracted by the cry, Mu Chen turned his head to look. Tisk tisk, this scene is unbearable to look at. At this moment, Pidgeotto's rump was firmly bitten by Rattata, and no matter how much it struggled, it could only shake off a few feathers. Ding ding, random mission activated. Help Ash defeat his opponent. Mission reward, randomly increase 5 base stats. Failure penalty, randomly reduce a part of the host's body by 2 centimeters. Holy crap. Again? The sudden system voice made Mu Chen curse repeatedly. You really know my weakness, huh? Every time I fail, it's this penalty? Fine, you're awesome, I'm afraid of this. Pikachu. It's all up to you. Pidgeotto was unfortunately defeated, and Ash was feeling sad when he saw Pikachu come to his side, looking furious. Obviously, Pikachu wanted to fight. What else was there to say? Ash trusted his starter Pokémon completely. Pika Pika, ignoring Ash, Mu Chen, full of anger, took his anger out on the Rattata in front of him. First, an electromagnetic wave was sent, greatly reducing Rattata's speed. Then, a quick attack knocked the paralyzed Rattata to the ground. Next, of course, came Mu Chen's most proficient electric shock. Zzzzz, a current flashed, and Rattata, stunned by Mu Chen's combo, didn't even have time to retaliate. Countless stars flashed in its eyes. Ha ha ha. Awesome. Pikachu, I knew you could do it. Without any commands, Pikachu had instantly defeated its opponent, and Ash naturally shouted excitedly. At this moment, Ash had completely gotten his revenge for his previous frustration. Holy crap. Am I that strong? Ignoring the still stunned Ash, Mu Chen, having vented his anger, was also stunned. So, skills can be used like this. At this moment, Mu Chen realized that in battle, it wasn't always necessary to use each skill one by one. If this combination of combos was used well, then challenging opponents of higher levels wasn't impossible. For a fleeting moment, a dazzling light flashed in Mu Chen's eyes. Even I could use this combo on a girl, like that Jessie. Thinking back, I used a similar strategy in that battle against Team Rocket. If I paralyzed her first, then used quick attack, the image was too beautiful. Mu Chen was mesmerized. Ding ding, mission complete, attack stat increased by 5, holy crap. The system's voice snapped Mu Chen out of his dreamlike reverie. Hearing the system reward, Mu Chen burst into tears. The last thing I need is an attack stat. Chapter 19 Re-encounter with Hanako. Pikachu, wake up, wake up. We're going to challenge the Cerulean City Gym today. In his sleep, Mu Chen was tirelessly woken up by Ash. Originally, Mu Chen was planning to give Ash a good whack for waking him from his sweet dreams, but after hearing his last sentence, Mu Chen's pointed ears immediately perked up. Cerulean City Gym. Holy crap. The Cerulean Sisters. And Ash's mom, Hanako. Ah. Happy life, here I come. In an instant, Mu Chen was wide awake. Pika Pika this time, Ash finally understood the general meaning of Mu Chen's words. Ha ha ha, Pikachu, you're excited too. aren't you? Let's go, let's set off, that's right. Excited, I'm extremely excited. At this moment, Mu Chen suddenly felt something change in his lower body. Looking down, Mu Chen was thrilled. Ha ha ha. This system is actually quite reliable. The reward for defeating Team Rocket in the previous mission was unlocking male instinct. Damn, I'm finally a man again. Mu Chen knew he was getting closer and closer to becoming a real man. As for the silencer? In such an exciting moment, Mu Chen naturally chose to forget about it. Ash, my dear son, how have you been lately? How was the trip? Did you miss your mother? As Mu Chen waited expectantly, Ash arrived at the Cerulean City Gym and happened to meet his mother, Hanako. Today was the Cerulean City Gym's open day. An open day meant that the Cerulean City Gym didn't accept any challenges, but instead held a synchronized water ballet performance. Ash's mother, Hanako, had come all the way from Pallet Town to see the synchronized water ballet. Oh dear. Mom, I'm not a little kid anymore. I already have a gym badge. But why is the opening day today? This is terrible. I was planning to challenge the gym. Ash was very unhappy after being affectionately patted on the head by Hanako. Damn it. Seeing Ash's behavior, Mu Chen was furious. That idiot. I'm so envious, and you're so impatient? Pikachu? How is it going? Traveling with my son, is everything alright? After finishing her affectionate interaction with Ash, Hanako noticed Mu Chen crawling forward at their feet. Yes, Mu Chen was indeed crawling. The reason? Because Hanako was wearing a long skirt, Mu Chen deliberately used this method to avoid attracting her attention. Unfortunately, his technique wasn't skillful enough, and he was too slow. Before Mu Chen had gone very far, Hanako noticed him. Of course, Hanako never expected a Pokémon to be interested in her group's charm. Pikachu, having been called out by Hanako, Mu Chen naturally lost his chance to continue. Helpless, Mu Chen could only put on his cutest smile. No chance for group charm? Then a heartfelt hug would do. Hey, Pikachu, you really have plenty of energy. Seeing you two healthy and well, I'm relieved. Let's go, Ash, it's a rare open day, let's go see the synchronized swimming performance. Although amused by Mu Chen, Hanako didn't pick him up as Mu Chen wished. Ugh, Mom, what's so interesting about that? I'd rather go back to the Pokémon Center and battle someone, holy crap. Mu Chen, still feeling regretful, was furious when he heard Ash turn back. You idiot. Don't you know what art is? Don't you know what appreciation is? Synchronized swimming. Ladies. You're going to be the death of me. The group's charm was gone. The affectionate hugs were gone too. If he also missed watching the swimsuit show, Mu Chen swore he'd electrocute this idiot. Luckily, Hanako didn't agree to her idiot son's request. Fighting every day. Aren't you tired? Pikachu is. Listen to mommy today, let's go see the show. Without waiting for Ash's objections, Hanako forcefully dragged him into the arena. Hooray! Things had taken a turn for the better, and Mu Chen was so excited he almost burst into song. However, what he didn't expect was that double the happiness was about to overwhelm him. Because Ash had no interest in watching synchronized swimming, he bought a lot of snacks to kill time before entering. This meant Mu Chen couldn't watch the synchronized swimming performance while nestled in Ash's lap. As a Pokémon, Mu Chen naturally didn't have a separate seat. So, things became very simple. So fragrant, so soft, lying on Hanako's lap, even through her skirt, Mu Chen was almost moved to tears. Of course, Mu Chen didn't dare to be too reckless at this moment. After several failures, Mu Chen had gradually calmed down. After thinking it over, he understood his position. In the end, it was just a Pokémon. As long as it didn't suddenly do anything too outrageous, it wouldn't attract attention. Therefore, he had to take advantage of the situation slowly and carefully. Mu Chen knew very well that Hanako was still wary of him because of what happened last time. So, he was behaving very obediently, just like an ordinary Pokémon, enjoying its master's affection. Of course, Mu Chen was absolutely not willing to stop there. He didn't have many opportunities to meet Hanako. Such a beautiful woman was already so close to him, how could Mu Chen be willing not to take further action? At this moment, Mu Chen was waiting for the synchronized swimming performance to begin. When Hanako's entire attention was focused on watching the performance, when Hanako completely lowered her guard against him, that would be the time for Mu Chen to make his move. Ugh. So annoying. Mom, why isn't the synchronized swimming performance starting yet? Xiaozhi's complaint echoed Mu Chen's thoughts. Although lying on his lap felt blissful, Mu Chen was still incredibly impatient. Damn it, Xiaoxia and the rest of you women, if you're going to perform, just do it already. What are you dawdling about? Finally, after a long wait, the entire venue went dark, and several beams of light shone from the ceiling onto the center of the stage. The synchronized swimming performance had begun. Chapter 20 Internal Injuries? Inside the dark arena, only the central stage was illuminated. Everyone's attention was focused on the four sisters performing. After all, Cerulean City's synchronized swimming was a renowned and popular event in the Kanto region. Moreover, the performers were four young and beautiful sisters. Of course, not everyone's attention was on the performance. In an inconspicuous corner at the edge of the arena, two people, or rather, one person and one beast, were completely uninterested in the performance. The person was, of course, Ash. The battle-crazed Ash had absolutely no interest in synchronized swimming. Therefore, he focused all his attention on the food in front of him. Since his mother had paid for it, Ash was naturally going to feast. As for the beast, it was none other than our protagonist, Mu Chen. The long-awaited performance began, but Mu Chen showed absolutely no interest in the four Cerulean sisters. So what if they were swimsuit-clad beauties? I have a beautiful young woman right next to me. Can this compare? One was far away, the other right before his eyes. Mu Chen could clearly distinguish which was more important. Of course, the performance had only just begun, and Mu Chen didn't dare to be too presumptuous. Finally, as the performance progressed, because of Mu Chen's obedient behavior, Hanako completely lowered her guard and focused all her attention on the performance. The opportunity had arrived. What Mu Chen most wanted to study about Hanako was naturally the regret he had missed before. However, he was currently on Hanako's legs, and to study that, he would need to stand up. Mu Chen knew that if he dared to stand up, it would definitely arouse Hanako's alertness. Therefore, Mu Chen's choice was to reach out his short arms and quietly pull Hanako's floral dress up little by little. If he couldn't see the top, he could at least look somewhere else. Of course, Mu Chen didn't dare to go too far, but seeing those white legs was still good enough. With Mu Chen's patient tugging, Hanako's dress was gradually lifted up. Hanako, focused on the performance, was completely unaware of all this. Finally, what appeared before Mu Chen was no longer the floral dress, but a pair of long, white legs that shimmered even in the darkness. Hooray! I did it! Having reached this point, Mu Chen felt completely at ease. Next, his choice was naturally to personally experience those unshielded white legs. The feeling of touching them directly, without the dress, was completely different. As for Hanako, she had only been wearing a dress before, and now with Mu Chen's body pressed against her legs, she didn't feel anything different. Therefore, Hanako continued to watch the synchronized ballet performance without any awareness. Of course, Mu Chen still dared not make any major moves. Hanako wasn't an innocent little girl. If he acted too aggressively, she would definitely notice. But even this was enough for Mu Chen. This was his first time being able to personally experience those long, white legs that he could only admire from afar. Mu Chen's life was almost complete. However, many things in this world often come knocking on your door when you don't force them. Just when Mu Chen was content with what he had and dared not make any further moves, Hanako offered him an opportunity. Of course, Hanako was completely unaware of what was happening. No matter how soft Mu Chen's body was, it still had downy hair. Downy hair can cause a ticklish sensation in anyone who touches it. And Hanako felt this slight ticklish sensation on her thighs. Instinctively, Hanako reached out and scratched herself, then slightly shifted her posture. Normally, this wouldn't have been a problem, but because Hanako slightly changed her posture, her thighs could no longer be brought together as before. Of course, with the protection of her long skirt and the Pikachu on her thighs, Hanako wasn't worried about any risk of exposure. However, she didn't know that the Pikachu on her thighs was the most dangerous thing for her. Holy crap! Red. I can't take it anymore. At this moment, Mu Chen's eyes, as if bloodshot, turned completely red. You see, although Mu Chen had watched countless movies in his past life, even those far more violent than this was different. Watching on a computer screen and seeing it in person had a completely different impact on the brain. Therefore, Mu Chen's reaction was not surprising. The sudden wetness startled Hanako. Instinctively reaching out to touch it, Hanako discovered her palm was covered in bright red blood in the dim light. Alarmed, Hanako quickly looked down. Oh dear. Ash. What happened? Was Pikachu injured? Why didn't you take it to get treated? In her nervousness, Hanako completely forgot that she had touched skin directly, not the skirt. In the dim light, Hanako looked down and saw that Pikachu's nose was bleeding. This was terrible. Clearly, it had suffered internal injuries. What? Pikachu's injured? Ash, who was happily munching on his food, was stunned. Pikachu's injured? When did this happen? How come I didn't know? Wasn't it perfectly fine yesterday, easily defeating that Rattata? Did he overdo it? Pika, the exclamation from the two also startled Mu Chen, who was lost in his red-themed world. However, this guy clearly didn't know what had happened. Mom, you keep watching, I'm taking Pikachu to the Pokémon Center. Pikachu was Ash's starter Pokémon, his most important partner. Ash was more worried than anyone else about Pikachu's injury. Without waiting for Hanako and Pikachu to react, Ash directly picked up Pikachu from Hanako's arms and ran towards the Pokémon Center. What the hell? What's going on? Being suddenly carried away by Ash, Mu Chen was immediately dumbfounded. What's going on? Did I get caught? This was the only reason Mu Chen could think of at this moment. Of course, Mu Chen was unaware that he should thank Zhi. This child, how could he be so reckless? Pulling down her skirt, Hanako, her face slightly flushed, continued watching the synchronized swimming performance. Hanako had clearly misunderstood Zhi regarding her skirt, believing he had accidentally pulled it up in his nervousness. Chapter 21 Cerulean Dojo. Pikachu, finally, he was free. At this moment, Mu Chen felt the world was so warm and the air so fresh. Because of a previous misunderstanding, Mu Chen had been almost forcibly handed over to Nurse Joy at the Pokémon Center by Ash. As for the subsequent treatment, unsurprisingly, Mu Chen once again fell into the hands of that plump and round Cheshire egg. After a dose of forced sedation, Mu Chen could only recall that unforgettable crimson in his dreams. Of course, it was precisely because Mu Chen's mind was still filled with that crimson that his nose kept bleeding, ultimately doubling the treatment time. Haha, Pikachu, you're finally healthy again. You know, you scared me to death. Before, I didn't know why your nose kept bleeding, and even Nurse Joy couldn't find the problem. Fortunately, our league's medical pod is powerful enough to finally cure you. Seeing Pikachu recover, the happiest person was Ash, who had sent Hanako away. This treatment took a whole day, which terrified Ash. Pikachu, bullshit. Hearing Ash's words, Mu Chen felt utterly helpless. What amazing treatment methods. It was just that I calmed down. However, he slept for quite a long time. He wondered if Hanako was still there. At this moment, Mu Chen's mind was still filled with a previous scene, still the charming and beautiful young woman, Hanako. But Alice, when Mu Chen returned to the resting place with Ash, he finally heard the news that Hanako had left. Pikachu, it's evening now, let's get some rest. When I saw Mom off this afternoon, she specifically told me to remind you to take care of your health. Holy crap. Gone? In an instant, Mu Chen's previous excited state deflated. Damn it. How could she just leave like that? Mu Chen knew very well that he wouldn't have many more chances to see her in the future. Hearing that she had left, Mu Chen felt an indescribable sense of loss. Mu Chen still missed Hanako terribly. He missed her delicate face, her warm and soft embrace, and especially that unforgettable blush. Pikachu, dejected, Mu Chen didn't bother thinking anymore. Whatever, time to sleep. Pikachu, you seem very tired. Get some rest. Tomorrow, we'll challenge the gym. In a daze, Mu Chen vaguely heard Ash's voice in his ear. Gym challenge? Come on, the sooner the better. Having seen Hanako's blush, Mu Chen had completely lost interest in those so-called swimsuit beauties. Ash? You're here so early? Our gym just opened. Early in the morning, Misty, who was in charge of opening the door, saw the incredibly energetic Ash and the Pikachu with its eyelids drooping. Yes, I'm going to challenge the gym today. I was planning to do it yesterday, but it happened to be your open day, so I had to wait another day. Can I challenge it today? Pikachu and I are so excited. Ash was incredibly excited about the gym challenge. In his extreme excitement, Ash immediately picked up Pikachu, who was perched on his shoulder, and carried it to Misty to show that he wasn't kidding. But this was intolerable to Mu Chen. Damn it. This clueless idiot, didn't he see I was conserving my energy? Knowing that there would be a gym challenge today, and given the system's usual tricks, a task was bound to appear, Mu Chen was indeed conserving his energy. Now, just as he was about to drift off to sleep, seeing his flushed face suddenly picked up by this idiot Ash, Mu Chen was furious. What else was there to say? Time for an electric shock. A current flashed, and unsurprisingly, Ash's hairstyle transformed back into a Super Saiyan. You guys are all very energetic. Okay, come in with me. SYNOPSIS knew Ash and Pikachu quite well. Clearly, Pikachu wasn't feeling well and was about to fall asleep. Being suddenly picked up by that idiot Ash, no wonder it was furious. SYNOPSIS completely understood this electric shock. Hey, SYNOPSIS, why are you bringing people in so early? Are they here for a visit? A woman's voice, noticeably more mature than SYNOPSIS, rang out. Attracted by the voice, Mu Chen immediately lifted his droopy eyelids. A young lady. Holy crap. This young lady is pretty good. Is she SYNOPSIS' older sister? Damn, I was so busy studying Hanako yesterday that I didn't even go see that swimsuit show. I regret it. Appearing before Mu Chen was SYNOPSIS' older sister, Sakura. Her slightly wavy golden hair accentuated her large, manga-like, watery eyes, making her incredibly charming. Oh dear. Eldest sister, this is a trainer here for a gym challenge. SYNOPSIS was utterly exasperated with her three older sisters who were neglecting their duties. They were clearly gym trainers, yet they insisted on having a side hustle. And now, they'd gone so far as to neglect their main job. That was a bit much? A gym challenge? Ugh, how boring. Second sister, you go. Hearing that they weren't just there to observe, Sakura immediately lost her enthusiasm. No. Third sister, you should take care of it. The one who answered Sakura was a girl with blue hair and a somewhat quiet appearance. Huh? Me? No way. No way. My Goldie needs to practice jumping today. How can I have time to deal with a gym challenge? Otherwise, you should take care of it. Little sister, you're back and have nothing to do anyway. Hearing her second sister Am's words, the third sister Botan was immediately shocked. Seriously? Who's interested in something as tedious as gym challenge training? Instead of wasting time on this, they should be studying the costumes and choreography for the performance. It's me again? Big sister. Second sister. Third sister. You've gone too far. After spinning around, the spot ended up on her, and SYNOPSIS looked utterly indignant. Holy crap. What the hell is going on? Seeing the four sisters blaming each other, Mu Chen was dumbfounded. This is a gym leader? But I'm so envious. At this moment, Mu Chen's heart was filled with longing. I just want to follow a girl like this who doesn't like to battle. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22 Facing Reality. SYNOPSIS, are you sure you can handle the gym challenge? You know my Pikachu, it's incredibly strong. After a series of excuses from the four sisters, the youngest, SYNOPSIS, tragically became Ash's opponent. SYNOPSIS was completely exasperated by her irresponsible older sisters. Come on. Ash, I'm not weak, don't underestimate me. Although she had traveled with Ash before, aside from the time with Team Rocket, SYNOPSIS had never actually fought. Therefore, Ash had a misunderstanding about SYNOPSIS' strength. While the two were talking, Mu Chen, perched on Ash's shoulder, was bewildered. What's going on? Something's not right. Why isn't the system showing up? Logically, for something as big as a gym challenge, it would be illogical for the system not to demonstrate its presence. But no matter how much Mu Chen called out in his mind, the system didn't respond. Fishbim, I choose you. Just as Mu Chen was struggling with this system task, the match between Ash and his friend had officially begun. Because it was a water-type gym, and most of the arena was in a pool, Ash chose to send out his water-type Pokémon, Fishbim, for the first match. Normally, Ash's choice was perfectly fine. However, he forgot to consider the relative strength of the two sides. Fishbim? Just as I expected. Well then, Goldeen, go. As someone from a water-type gym family, Misty's Pokémon were naturally mostly water-type. Doosha, at Misty's summons, an elegant Goldeen appeared in the pool of the arena. Ah, it's Goldeen. I've never seen you use this Pokémon before. But it can't possibly beat Fishbim. Ash was always full of inexplicable confidence when it came to the match. Stop talking nonsense, let's begin. Goldeen, attack, use tackle. Xiaoxia knew that given her relationship with Xiaozi, if they continued chatting, the match might not even start until dark. Didn't you see Pikachu yawning from boredom? At this moment, Xiaoxia just wanted to end the battle as quickly as possible and then introduce Xiaozi and this cute Pikachu to her older sisters. Duosha, at Xiaoxia's command, Goldeen swayed its large, flower petal-like tail and charged at Brutus. I'm never afraid of battle. Go, Brutus, use tackle. Hearing Xiaozi's command, Mu Chen quickly covered his eyes. Damn it, why is it suddenly going into headstrong mode again? My poor Brutus. Sure enough, everything went exactly as Mu Chen expected. Bang! Splash! Scrunch! Scrunch! The two fish Pokémon collided violently in the water, splashing water everywhere. Immediately, the pitiful cry of the clumsy fish rang out. Looking down, Mu Chen's lips twitched uncontrollably. What the hell? Sending that bald-headed clumsy fish to collide with a horned creature? What was he thinking? At this moment, a long gash had appeared on the clumsy fish's head from the collision, blood flowing continuously into the pool. Looking at the clumsy fish's miserable state in the pool, Mu Chen suddenly realized he felt a pang of pity. Holy crap! Seriously? My orientation is perfectly normal. How could I possibly feel sorry for this ugly fish? But Mu Chen didn't know that, under the subtle influence of the system mission, he had already decided in his heart that this clumsy fish was his partner for ending his virginity. Therefore, it wasn't surprising that he felt pity for the clumsy fish. Ash, give up. You've lost this round. As a friend, Misty couldn't bear to see her succumb to injury under Ash's stubborn command. Give up? The word give up doesn't exist in my dictionary. Succumb, charge. Show her our courage. Use tackle again. Succumb's opposite was very limited, only tackle, splash, and fluster. Splash was purely for show, utterly useless in battle. While fluster dealt significantly more damage than tackle, Ash, with his personality, would never choose such a defensive counterattack tactic. Charge. That's the path a real man should take. But Ash was a man at heart, while Succumb was a complete girl. Kwa, hearing Ash's command, Succumb let out another cry and wobbled as it charged at Goldeen. Ugh, I just can't do anything with you. Goldeen, use ultrasonic. Since Bumblebee was already injured, Misty naturally wouldn't add insult to injury by attacking it again. Therefore, Misty chose to have Goldeen use ultrasonic. Ultrasonic doesn't have any active damage capabilities, but it can cause confusion in the brain of the opponent it hits, causing them to lose control of their body. Of course, this also depends on the Pokémon's own abilities. If it's a Pokémon with super strong abilities or strong willpower, then ultrasonic is completely useless. However, Bumblebee clearly doesn't belong to either of these categories. Clatter, because of its injury, Bumblebee's speed was greatly reduced. Facing the ultrasonic released by Goldeen, Bumblebee was powerless to dodge. Getting hit was inevitable. After being hit, Bumblebee immediately lost its direction of movement, darting around the pool like a headless fly. Pikachu, holy crap. Ash, take it easy on my wife. Knowing he couldn't escape the system's clutches, after some self-examination, Mu Chen finally accepted his subconscious. Damn it, I feel sorry for this ugly fish. Seeing his future wife so pitiful under Ash's command, Mu Chen immediately protested. You idiot. If you're so stubborn, why don't you go fight yourself? Of course, Mu Chen didn't know at this moment that he was now on the right path. The condition for Felk's evolution was friendship. Normally, this friendship level is the friendship between the trainer and the trainer. However, due to the system, this friendship level setting was naturally changed to apply to Mu Chen. Now, Mu Chen had accepted Felk deep down and even felt sorry for her plight. This was the beginning of the friendship between them. Chapter 23 Xiaoxia's Gem Starfish. I choose you, Pidgeotto. The confused Feraligatr was still bleeding profusely. In this situation, Ash naturally wouldn't let Feraligatr force itself into battle. Therefore, although unwilling, Ash forfeited this match. Pidgeotto was Ash's choice for the second battle. As for why he didn't send Pikachu, whose type is super effective against water? Ash was just being stubborn, he wasn't really stupid. Ash knew that letting Pikachu participate depended entirely on its mood. Rather than making that unreliable choice, Ash preferred to let Pidgeotto fight first. His previous challenge against the Pewter City Gym ended in failure because Pidgeotto's type was weak against it. But now, challenging the Cerulean City Water-type Gym, with Misty as his opponent, Ash didn't think his Pidgeotto would be unable to win as before. Beep beep! At Ash's summons, Pidgeotto flapped its dazzling wings and appeared in the sky above the field. That's more like it. Your clumsy fishy is completely unsuitable for battle right now. Misty was finally satisfied when Ash summoned Pidgeotto. At least, using Pidgeotto in battle was a more reliable choice, wasn't it? Clumsy fishy? Although it's also a water-type Pokémon, Misty felt that even she, a trainer who favors water-type Pokémon, looked down on this ugly thing. Moreover, Clumsy Fishy's tragically weak combat power was enough to compete with Magikarp and Caterpie for the title of the weakest Pokémon in the Pokémon world. Therefore, Misty felt helpless about the previous battle. Perhaps only Ash was full of passion? Pidgeotto, let's attack. Use quick attack. Having already lost a battle, Ash naturally had no intention of continuing to waste words. Beep! With a cry, Pidgeotto, circling in midair, shot towards the Goldeen in the center of the pool. Good. Goldeen, use Horn Tackle. Horn Tackle is currently the most powerful move that Misty's Goldeen possesses. Therefore, facing Pidgeotto's powerful attack, Misty naturally chose to use her strongest move. Although Goldeen isn't primarily a battle-oriented Pokémon in Misty's hands, it doesn't lack the courage to fight. Facing Pidgeotto, Goldeen showed no weakness. It swung its tail in the water and unleashed a powerful Horn Tackle at the Pidgeotto that was attacking from above. Bang! The sound of impact rang out. Pidgeotto, after all, is a Pokémon that has evolved once, and its fighting power is certainly not comparable to Feraligatr. In this collision, Pidgeotto clearly gained the upper hand. Using the advantage of its level, Pidgeotto used quick attack to forcefully knock Goldeen, which had just emerged from the water, back down. Well done. Pidgeotto, use Hurricane. Seeing Pidgeotto gain the upper hand, Ash's confidence soared. Beep! Following Ash's command, Pidgeotto flapped its wings in midair, instantly creating a small tornado-like whirlwind on the water's surface. This was the flying-type move Hurricane. Ash wasn't stupid, he knew Pidgeotto couldn't fight underwater, so he chose to let it unleash this ranged attack. Clatter, having already been knocked dizzy by a quick attack, it was now caught in a hurricane. The world spun around it, and stars flickered in Goldeen's eyes. Clearly, Goldeen was unable to fight. Goldeen, you've done well. Ash, now I'm going to get serious, so be careful. Go, Starmie. With Goldeen defeated, Misty's playful mood vanished. Pidgey's strength is quite outstanding, even Misty, whose own stereo is not guaranteed a victory. Therefore, she chose her main Pokémon, Starmie. After all, she represents the Cerulean Gym, so she can't afford to lose too badly. With Misty's summons, a giant Starmie, its body seemingly inlaid with dazzling jewels, appeared in the arena. Huh. This is your main Pokémon? Very good. Watch how my Pidgey defeats it. Battle, Pidgey, use wing attack. Seeing Misty use her main Pokémon, Ash showed no fear whatsoever. Instead, he excitedly gave Pidgey the command to attack first. Don't underestimate me. Starmie, use rapid spin. Starmie is, after all, Misty's main Pokémon, and its combat power is naturally extraordinary. Facing the powerful attack of Pidgey, Misty did not hesitate at all. Just as the two were battling, in an inconspicuous corner of the gym, several pairs of eyes gleamed with greedy light. This was Team Rocket. Yesterday, the three of them had disguised themselves as tourists and visited the Cerulean City Gym to watch a water ballet performance. Of course, this wasn't their real purpose. Their goal was, naturally, to find rare Pokémon. Unexpectedly, when they returned today to try their luck, they found a worthy target. And this target, of course, wasn't the weak Pikachu. James, Meowth, this Starmie seems quite valuable, right? Looking at the Starmie's body covered in jewels, Jessie's eyes revealed desire. I'm not too sure about that. Meowth, what do you think? Starmie should be considered a relatively rare Pokémon, right? Although James was a rich young master, his understanding of Pokémon value is surprisingly limited. After all, before becoming a member of Team Rocket, Kojiro had no concept of money. Meow. This Starmie is probably, maybe, really valuable. If we catch it and present it to the boss, I think we'll definitely be promoted to executives. Meow. Meowth, with a human-like gesture, placed its left paw on its chin and made a seemingly profound assessment of Starmie's value. Huh. What are we waiting for? Let's just grab Starmie and run. Hearing Meowth's affirmative answer, Jessie became excited. Whether or not to present it to the boss was a secondary matter. At the very least, Jessie, could get up close to this dazzling gem. That was the most important thing for Jessie. Just as the Team Rocket trio was preparing to act, the bored Mu Chen finally received the long-awaited system notification. Chapter 24 Rescue of the Gem Starfish. Beep beep, random mission activated. Protect Misty's Starmie from being stolen by Team Rocket. Mission reward, randomly increase 5 base stat points. Failure penalty, randomly reduce a certain part of your body by 2 centimeters. Mu Chen remained calm about the system's rewards and penalties. He was already used to the system's tricks. These kinds of rewards and penalties were nothing new to him. However, what Mu Chen hadn't expected was that the target of the mission was Team Rocket. Previously, Mu Chen had been wondering why the system mission hadn't arrived yet, but now the answer was clear. Unexpectedly, Team Rocket had come here and wanted to steal Misty's Starmie. He just didn't know if it was that trio. If it was. Thinking of Jessie's red hair, short skirt, and long boots, Mu Chen instantly snapped out of his previous listless state. Pikachu. At this moment, Mu Chen was like a rabbit seeing food, his eyes turning bloodshot. Miss Jessie, I missed the chance to observe your panties last time, but this time I definitely won't miss it again. Pikachu, don't rush, Pidgeotto is almost done for. Wait until it loses before you go in. Hearing Pikachu's cry, Ash, who had been struggling with the unfavorable situation, was overjoyed. Ha ha ha. Heaven is helping me, Pikachu finally wants to battle. Ash knew that as long as his Pikachu wanted to battle, no opponent could defeat it. Last time, Pikachu even managed to defeat Onix, whose type was completely super effective against it. Now, facing Starmie, whose type was super effective against Pikachu, there was absolutely no reason for it to lose. Pika Pika, idiot, when did I say I was going to battle? Hearing Ash's self-indulgent talk, Mu Chen rolled his eyes. After giving Ash a perfunctory reply, Mu Chen focused all his attention on Starmie, who was battling. He didn't know where Team Rocket was hiding, but Starmie was right in front of him. Who cares where Team Rocket comes from? As long as I hold Starmie firmly, what's there to be afraid of? This guy, Mu Chen, although he often has a brain freeze when he sees a pretty girl, doesn't mean he's stupid. When it comes to cleverness, Mu Chen is second to none. Beep, finally. After Starmie unleashed a swift attack, the struggling Pidgey let out a mournful cry. Clearly, it couldn't hold on any longer. Oh dear, Pidgey, you've had a tough time. Come back. Pikachu, I choose you. Let's battle. Ash had already anticipated Pidgey's defeat. However, he showed no panic whatsoever. HMPH. My Pikachu has challenged me, I won't lose this gym challenge. Hey, Ash, how about we call it a day? Pikachu's not feeling well, is it? How about we fight tomorrow? When Misty saw Pikachu before, it was completely listless and dispirited. Therefore, in Misty's memory, Pikachu was simply not in good form today. Misty really liked this cute yellow mouse and naturally didn't want it to fight when it wasn't feeling well. Tomorrow? Ha ha ha. No need to wait until tomorrow. Today, your battle is already decided. Go, Arbok, coughing, use hide fog. Starmie is ours, meow. Before Ash could react, 2 figures suddenly rushed out from a corner of the arena. Or rather, 2 figures plus a cat. This was none other than the Team Rocket trio who had been lurking for a long time. Oh no, it's Team Rocket. During the competition, she never expected Team Rocket to appear here. And, judging from their target, it was her Starmie. At this moment, Misty was truly shocked. Ha ha ha. That's right, it's us. Hand over your Starmie. Arbok, charge. Use bind and grab Starmie. Seeing Starmie almost in their grasp, Jessie's eyes sparkled. So many gems. Starmie, use water gun. Misty wasn't about to sit idly by while Team Rocket tried to capture her Starmie. Right now, it was just her and Ash in the arena. Ash was unreliable, so Misty had to find a way to save herself. As for Misty's 3 older sisters? Seriously? With tourists visiting, didn't they need someone to greet and entertain them? Besides, even without tourists, the 3 of them would rather stay in the arena's backyard for their next synchronized swimming rehearsal. Who is interested in watching this kind of barbaric Pokémon battle? Ha ha ha, It's useless, don't resist. Team Rocket had been preparing for this sneak attack for a long time. Now that they had made their move, there was no chance of anything going wrong. At James's command, the coughing spewed out plumes of black smoke. Although the thick smoke wasn't particularly lethal, it successfully enveloped the entire arena, plunging everyone inside into darkness. Quick, Pikachu, go help Misty. Ash only had Pikachu left to fight, and seeing Team Rocket attack, he certainly wouldn't abandon Misty pointlessly. Pikachu, of course, I didn't need your reminder. Mu Chen had been waiting for this trio for a long time. However, the way they appeared was beyond Mu Chen's expectations. A thick cloud of smoke swept in, instantly blinding Mu Chen. What the hell? I can't see anything. How am I supposed to protect Starmie? System, are you trying to screw me over? The thought that Starmie might actually be taken away made Mu Chen panic. Reduce it by 2 centimeters. How long is my penis anyway? Knowing the system's nature, once it's reduced, it's definitely my penis. Heave-ho. Just then, a painful cry came from within the black smoke. Clearly, Arbok had successfully completed Musashi's order, binding Starmie. Pikachu, hearing Starmie's cry, Mu Chen tensed up. It was obvious that if they didn't act soon, his penis would be in serious trouble. In a flash, without thinking, Mu Chen unleashed a maximum electric shock at the pool he remembered. Water, it seems, conducts electricity, right? I remember Starmie was always in the pool. If the trio wanted to catch it, would they have to go into the water too? This was Mu Chen's only thought at that moment. Chapter 25 In the Black Mist. ZZZZT. A burst of electricity suddenly surged from the pool in the arena. Arbok, which was binding Starmie in the pool, was the first to be hit. Clatter, suddenly shocked, Arbok's body instinctively contracted and expanded. It was precisely this instant that freed Starmie from its tight binding. Heave-ho, Misty, unable to observe the battle in the darkness, naturally couldn't give Starmie any commands. However, Pokémon are also independent beings with their own will. Suddenly ambushed by an enemy, and in such a disgusting way, physically binding it, Starmie was enraged. Although Starmie couldn't accurately determine the enemy's direction in the black mist, it could still grasp the general location. In its rage, Starmie held nothing back, unleashing a powerful surf attack towards the direction it remembered. Surf is a powerful water-type move. Normally, Starmie's abilities would be very limited in using such a powerful move. But now, in this critical situation, Starmie was even more furious. Without its trainer's guidance, Starmie, acting on instinct, naturally chose to unleash its most powerful attack. Whoosh, driven by Starmie's move, waves surged in the stadium's pool. Then, a 2-meter-high wave formed, crashing towards the direction Starmie was about to attack. This direction was precisely where Team Rocket was located. In the darkness, not only were Misty and Ash unable to see, but Team Rocket themselves couldn't see what was happening either. Their only reliance was on Arbok and coughing, which allowed them to fight in the dark. However, Pikachu's water-conducting electric shock caused Arbok's binding ability to fail. This, in turn, led to the formation of the massive wave that was hurtling towards them. Musashi, why do I have a bad feeling? Did you hear that sound? Sound? What sound? You must be mistaken. Arbok must have caught that starfish by now. Kajero, get ready. Don't forget to stop the gas bombs from spewing black smoke, or we won't be able to find the door. In the darkness, Musashi and Kajero, waiting for Arbok's triumphant return, were discussing. Meow. We should be in the gym, right? Why do I hear the sound of waves? Meow. Compared to human ears, Meow's hearing is clearly much better. Meow recognized the sound of the giant waves created by surfing. Waves? Are you kidding me? How could there be waves here? Meow, I'm warning you, even if the boss gives you a reward this time, you absolutely cannot use that bounty to go play at the beach. Hearing Meow's question, Musashi quickly warned it. What a joke. I've already planned how to use this bounty. When Musashi saw the dazzling gems on the starfish, her heart was already captivated. Even if she couldn't keep the starfish, she was determined to treat herself to the bounty. Buying some gems to adorn herself was a must. Meow. I'm telling you, Kajero, did you hear that? There really is the sound of waves. Meow. Hearing Musashi's words, Meow almost rushed up and gave her a wild, furious slap. What a vulgar woman, why doesn't she believe what I, Meow, say? I think I heard that too. Kojiro hesitated before answering Meow's question. Gas. Just then, the sound of a gas bomb suddenly rang out. Clearly, the gas bomb that was spewing black smoke at the front had also been hit. Gas bomb? What happened to you, gas bomb? Hearing the gas bomb scream, Kojiro panicked. But unfortunately, the black smoke hadn't dissipated, and Kojiro couldn't see anything. Stop yelling. What could a gas bomb possibly do? My Arbok was at the very front. Arbok hadn't even let out a scream, so what could a gas bomb possibly do? That was Musashi's thought. But little did she know, the first Arbok to be hit had already been knocked unconscious by the giant wave. Just as Kojiro was about to argue with Musashi, the giant wave crashed down on the trio. Meow. Stop arguing. I really heard. Ah. There really is a wave. Meow. Before Meow could finish speaking, the trio was directly hit by the giant wave. This was a giant wave propelled by Starmie's skill power. Its power was not to be underestimated. Damn it. We'll be back. This feeling is awful. That's it. Meow. From the darkness came the trio's unwilling cries. Of course, amidst their cries, intermittent sounds of choking on water could also be heard. It's over? What happened? Oh no. Oh no. My sisters are going to kill me. The black mist gradually dissipated as the coughing ceased its spray. Looking at the chaotic arena, Misty was stunned. What had happened in the darkness? Pikachu, are you alright? The cerulean gym was Misty's home, so naturally, she was focused on the gym. Conversely, she completely ignored Ash. After the black mist dissipated, Ash finally found Pikachu. However, Pikachu was already unconscious. It turned out that when Starmie activated its surf move, Mu Chen happened to be within its range. Because of the darkness, Mu Chen didn't immediately notice the giant wave approaching. This resulted in Mu Chen tragically taking a powerful surf attack. With his small physique, how could he withstand Starmie's full-force water-type move? Team Rocket was directly blasted out of the gym by the surf move, while Mu Chen was luckier, landing on the wall next to the gym's entrance. Of course, this wasn't exactly good luck. Fainting was inevitable. Starmie. Pikachu. What happened to you? Who hurt you like this? Finally, Misty recovered from the shock of the destroyed gym. Turning around, she saw that her Starmie was near death from exhaustion. Similarly, Pikachu in Ash's arms on the other side of the gym was also unconscious, seeing stars. What on earth happened? Completely bewildered, Misty looked at Ash. But Ash, compared to her, was even less aware of what had happened in the darkness. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.